Hello and welcome to the 2019 Junior AGL Game Day 3, Game 2. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we may be on Day 3, but each game still holds championship ramifications. Right now, we are about to see WA take on South Australia. WA chasing their first victory. We're going to take a quick look at the team list before I bring in my commentary team. You can see the WA Raiders team list now has stayed reasonably similar to their pre-tournament team list, save for a couple of injuries. One of the most notable ones, Alex Endel. Also on top of that, we had one of our big linemen unfortunately taken away with a significant lower leg injury. He was taken to hospital. He's back now though in camp. Obviously, his tournament is done. And we'll use an opportunity to take a quick look at the South Australian Raiders as well. South Australian Sharks, I should correct myself. As we bring ourselves onto on-field audio as well. Moritz Hindleder, one of the leading wide receivers of this team, along with Sam Young. Noah Duffy's been playing a great job at linebacker. Alex Rossi had that big stop in Game 1 to win them the game against the All-Stars. Solomon Mabutu has had a huge job playing both ways at center and defensive tackle for the Sharks. They'll need him again today. And as we come back to live picture here, as the coin toss just took place, I'll use this opportunity to bring in my color commentator for Game 2, and it is, well, I'll call you a former, but I'll say incumbent New South Wales women's coaches. Say hello to some of the lovely fans who brought me coffee earlier. Hello, Christy Steele. Dane Robinson, mate, you took a year off to get back into the playing uniform. Who knows what 2019 has added for you, but right now you're the color commentator here at the Junior Nats.
Thank you very much for having me. Excited to be here.
Indeed we are. You've been tuning into some of the games as I relocate my headset, but once you give the crowd a bit of your thoughts of the game so far.
The game so far have been really interesting. I've managed to watch a couple of the games on the live stream, which is a great addition.
WA have the first off option and will receive. All right, guys, go back to you.
I'm excited to see WA hopefully come up with their first win of the tournament this game. They've had a lot of great plays, but not yet able to get a full rhythm going. So it'll be exciting to see what they can do today.
Well, the story for the Raiders, as discussed a lot, is how young they are compared to previous Raiders team. And look, despite their youth, they've had a lot of pressure coming into this tournament. Western Australia is traditionally a really high-performing team in the junior division, or the Colts division. And obviously in a bit of a rebuilding stage here, but many people still giving a bit of pressure from home. Michael Kerr has definitely had a few things questioned here and there, but right now, I'll tell you what, he's got a great group of young guys who are enjoying playing for him right now, and I can certainly send that message back home, that the guys, despite the records, are certainly having a great time here, living and learning. So just another recap of the score so far on Day 3. New South Wales would have loved a slightly bigger margin against the All-Stars, but they did squeak out the win, 16 points to 8, although the All-Stars gave them quite the mighty scare towards the end, as you saw. Coach Robinson.
What a great game. I think the important thing for this particular game is with South Australia, I mean, they're averaging about 12 points for each game, which is not too much more than the WA team. Low-scoring games for both of the teams that have played. I think it's going to be important for both the offenses to really get a roll on here today, and whoever's going to be able to get that ball rolling first, I think, will be the most successful.
Well, the common denominator for both these two teams, they both fell victim to Queensland early in the tournament. South Australia got shut out yesterday, 49 points to 0. And then on Day 1, Western Australia got toweling, 45 points to 8. But both teams have also been shut out in this tournament, so hence why their averages are quite similar. But Sam Young in that first game, 3 touchdowns, almost 250 yards, and a whole lot of people put on notice. And here we go, Game 2. I will get into the playoff ramifications of it at the end of this kick return, but there's a strong return for the Raiders by Jacques Flozat. Became very involved towards the back end of last game that I called with Coach Wolfie, a former assistant of yours.
Shout out to Coach Wolf. I love hearing him on the commentary. He's got a lot of good little colloquialisms and metaphors that he likes to throw in there. So good to hear him getting involved with this tournament too.
So with the New South Wales victory this morning, they actually need South Australia to defeat the Western Australian Raiders here. What that would do would create a three-way tie, therefore nullifying the head-to-head they currently lose against Victoria. And then we have to talk about scores later. But right now, the first step they need is for South Australia to defeat the Western Australian Raiders to create three teams tying for second place with a 2-1 record.
Based on the scoring, I'd say South Australia would be your favourites here today. But not huge favourites. I think the low scoring for both teams mean that this could really be anybody's game, and it all depends on the offense. Defense has played a huge part in this tournament overall, and I think it's going to be up to the first team to get that ball rolling, like I said, to find success here today.
Conversely, for Victoria is actually hoping for a WA upset, if you can call it that, because if Western Australia win, that will eliminate the three-way tie, and therefore Victoria will go in on head-to-head over New South Wales. Here's Westlake. Westlake trying to climb the pocket, but he's taken down. That's Ethan Galley as one of the defensive tackles getting in on the sack.
And that's a great play from the defensive line. You see there are only 3 defensive linemen with their hand in the ground. That's a real confidence statement from South Australia, saying that we can use 3 people to take on your 5 and still get the job done.
I think that's Simeon Solomu getting in on the sack as well. A couple of guys in the hands. Ethan Galley, I wanted to get more information on him. Find out the big man in the middle there playing defensive tackle. Also has a hockey history, possibly representing Australia at the level of ice hockey. So maybe that makes a little more sense for his type of build. And this is a fumble, possibly recovered by the Sharks. They're getting up with it. That is recovered by the SA Sharks.
And it looks like a fumble, but with between the mesh and the handoff here, number 16, the quarterback, and the motioning receiver, number 14. 14 looks like they got there a little bit too early, got to the point too early, and that's caused the mix-up and the ball on the ground.
And that's the Southern District Oilers defensive end, Griffin O'Connor, coming up with the fumble recovery. Now, South Australia with an opportunity here. Here comes Cooper Henshaw. He's been under a lot of pressure as far as physical pressure so far. This time they'll hand off. They'll try to get the running game going. A nice stop there, though, by the Raiders. Coming up with the tackle is Nafareem Smith.
And running under centre like this gives you that opportunity to run these misdirection-like plays. But WA able to sniff that play out from the get-go this time.
That is Ben Keane taking a carry. They've been trying to get him more involved in running back, but the situation hasn't dictated. Let's talk about that. They haven't been on centre all tournament.
Well, sometimes you've got to be try a little bit of risk, something new towards these back-end stages of the tournament.
Roll out, no time! Henshaw taken down.
And that's the other side of the coin right there. If we can't seem to get these risky plays happening, usually it turns into a bad situation for someone.
And it might have been Seb Birch getting in for his second sack of the tournament. Mentioned it before, the youngest player in this tournament, not even 15 years old. Third and 19. Henshaw, 3-step drop, looking for a pass to the flat. Aimed toward the direction of Brad Stanbury, but well and truly incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down. Western Australia's defense forces a 3 and out.
Great press, great push from the defensive line, really applying pressure to the quarterback there, and having to throw that off the back foot means it doesn't quite have the power it needs to get to where it needs to be.
Joe Field, a punter for this team, comes back. Got lucky that a couple of his punts did not get returned for big gains due to penalties against Queensland. Made a concerted effort to try and get those punts to the sideline. Good snap. He'll rush.
Option.
It'll punt it, and it's a good punt.
I'm not sure if that punter has the option to run that ball or keep that ball should there be the hole there.
Well, as I've been hearing all week, it's the Chappie roll. Luke Chapman brought it out at junior outback. The idea of giving these players who are used to kicking on the run, whether it's AFL or rugby league, the option there to run it if they see fit, but also gets them away from the general attacking point for a lot of these punt rushes.
Get a chance now to have a look at WA's offense here.
Okay, Marcus Westlake is back. The raw but clearly talented product. He'll hand off. South Australia's defense rocks up. Both these teams have proven they've got a bit of explosiveness. We saw Lockie Pink get downfield a couple times against New South Wales. We've obviously seen what Sam Young can do. He did that in the first game against the All-Stars. 2nd and 10. Both teams sort of forcing the team to respect the run at the moment.
And also responding accordingly. Both defenses able to stuff these teams on what would probably be their base plays and their opening plays. Having no success, so maybe taking risk early might be a way to go.
A pitch play. South Australia is not a fan, so much so they'll take them down for a loss.
That's just great outside containment by our edge player here. What's this?
We'll see the number in a moment.
Making the tackle there, number 4 for South Australia, Kyle Budd. Great outside containment, manages to keep the runner on the inside of him towards where it started. That's where all the help is coming from, and that keeps the ball inside.
And we have got an injured player down here for South Australia. As I try to look cool, as I sense a close-up coming in. And you can see us there, Dane Robinson and myself in the commentary booth for us. You can see our lovely setup here out of Operation Paul Mills' vehicle, which we're hoping is good enough to get home back to Queensland.
Top tier setup in here, I tell you.
You see the Raiders group there taking a knee. As I mentioned, I think on day 1 there, for those who might be watching Gridiron for the first time, it's a bit of a sign of respect in our sport that once a player is down for an injury, you take a knee and hope that he gets up or she gets up. And it is the tackler Kyle Budd who's receiving some attention here. Let's take a look at what might have happened there. I'm worried it might be a bit of a concussion.
Great positioning, stays outside. Possibly an awkward elbow into something, maybe an awkward...
He's also holding his shoulder,
yeah.
so maybe it's actually something to do with the elbow or the arm. We might get an assessment sent to the booth throughout the game, but he is a huge part of that defense, particularly on the outside there. That will be huge in Western Australia. Let's see if they try to exploit that.
Levi Hurst has come in to substitute there for Kyle.
On 3rd down and long, they go to Grigorovich in the flat. He's got Allison blocking for him downfield. It's a key block, and they earn themselves a 1st down on 3rd and long.
Great play, great play. Good containment on the outside by the receivers. Butt pointed outside. That gets the running back that alley that he needs to get onto the sideline for the big game.
And that's been a pet play they've used a lot, particularly to the side of Sam Allison. He's a mobile left tackle. You can see him there, quite slender, long arms, can run.
That classic receiver build.
Yeah, good on him for getting into the trenches. He's only 16 though, can you believe? Got plenty of time to grow into that frame. Oh, too much pressure early. That jet sweep will be shut down. Were there whistles? South Australia's going to try and return it regardless. And it looks like, well, I'm not even sure who has possession at this very moment in time. I thought I heard whistles early.
Number 58 there, South Australia, Griffin O'Connor, straight through B gap to cause the problem and the fumble.
Looks like both respective teams are staying on field. No change of possession. I think that's the right call in my opinion. But there will be a loss of yardage. Still see number 16 there, Marcus Westlake.
The ruling on the field is a fumble immediately recovered by South Australia. First down at the spot of the
South
fumble.
Australian 1st down. They will call that a fumble and recovery.
And that's
Let's take a look at it again.
Number 58, Griffin O'Connor here. Great play in 21. Tom Martin finishing that play. Didn't hear any whistles and just a heads up play to pick and go.
Well, it's interesting. They're saying that it's immediately recovered. His knee wasn't on the ground. I think they're going to be on the
Gonna call him
unfortunate side of
down.
things because of the whistle.
I see. Right.
So the old inadvertent whistle. Well, maybe not inadvertent whistle. It had an intention. It was just the wrong one. Still 0-0. South Australia with an early opportunity to take first blood. They send a player in motion. Will they go to him? They try to hit to the outside receiver. He says he's got it. And that is the big outside man in Moritz Heidenletter.
That's a great play by that receiver. The ball thrown a little bit behind there, but enough flexibility and enough awareness to adjust his body to take that ball and come down with the catch.
And here we go
we
again.
dropped the ball off the snap.
And, well, we did mention this team has been predominantly been in shotgun, has had their own snapping issues. They choose to try to correct that by going under centre, but that presents some issues of its own.
A brand new set of problems that you wouldn't have been dealing with otherwise out of the shotgun. We want to make sure that our hands are, right up in there if we're going to be the quarterback to get that ball, and if it's not, that's usually what you see.
Another attempt from here. It's so weird. They're trying to make out quarterback's number from amongst all those linemen. Henshaw with a short drop there. It's not the cleanest three-step drop. You can see a lot of quarterbacks nowadays used to being in the shotgun.
And that's similar to that play we saw earlier. The pressure from the defensive line of WA is really causing pressure on that quarterback, which is a great job.
Stanbury in motion. And they'll go to the outside. It looks like it's complete. Or do they give him an incompletion? That was on 4th down. Incomplete. It'll be a turnover on downs. And we continue to see this ball move hands. And Dane, you've played in tournaments before. You've coached in tournaments like this before, with 7 and 10 days. What are the bodies feeling like here on day 3?
I'm surprised that there haven't been more injuries, to be honest with you. Having this many games, this much contact in such a short amount of time, there's very, very few people that don't have jobs, don't have school, don't have whatever, that are able to keep their body in that injury-free range while taking this much of a beating through a tournament like this.
That short screen was intended for Lockie Pink, who had a very, very busy second half 2 nights ago. And they try to get him involved early. But also I think that means a shout out to all the medical staff and the doctor staff for all the teams involved, and also to the players to be aware enough to look after themselves as well. Usually by this time we're seeing a lot more players going down with cramp.
Especially in a heat like this, it's important to keep hydration up and all those simple things. And it's usually missing out on a couple of those simple things that cause the big injuries.
No blitz sent by South Australia. This will be a keeper for Westlake. Westlake will have to slide, takes up a healthy bunch of turf as he does so.
And Lockie Pink here, number 15, great blocking on the edge from the slot receiver position. There he is, driving that upfield shoulder. And unfortunately somebody else has come in to make the play, but that's a great block there by number 14.
Jai Field on the pursuing cover defence. 3rd and 10 now, the assignment for Westlake and his offence. Westlake with trips out to the left. They've been in this formation, I would hazard a guess, close to 35 to 40% of their offensive plays. He's looking that direction, throwing for Pink. It's got too much pepper on it, and that'll be incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down, and they'll punt this back to the South Australian offense.
Unfortunate miss. The O-line did a really good job there. Quarterback looked like he set up quite well. Good drive on that pass, just missing the target.
So, a defensive slug out. And obviously you did mention the heat there and hydration. This has been the hottest day, the hottest game day so far in the tournament, sitting around 25, 26 degrees. That was an absolute dream compared to some of the temperatures we got in February. And this nice recovery by the punter. He punts it downfield. The Western Australian Gunners are going to let it go as long as it can, and it will finish up inside the South Australian 30. Not a bad punt.
down there by Isaiah Delafranca, and number 19, Ryan Evans, I think it was, running down the field, making sure he got out of the way to allow that punt to continue to bounce, continue to gain yards down the field, and try and move as far away from their goal line as possible.
Jacques Flozat with the punt recovery, or shall I say the recovery on the punt, and then getting that successful punt away. There's a South Australian sideline. I think a lot of these teams not used to having live stream. By day 3, they're well and truly aware of where the cameras are.
Absolutely. It brings another element, I think, and being able to show your friends and family and all those sorts of things who weren't able to show up to the games today adds an extra element of
Henshaw.
Excitement.
Indeed. Henshaw with a solid QB keeper there. Picks up 4 yards. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but blocking suggests it was.
Another mix-up there from under centre, but a great way to fix the problem. Simply give it to me and I'll make sure.
And how about the agility there from team manager Sarah Gibson on the Western Australian sideline? Sweet juke move.
Awareness through the roof.
Second down.
Ooh.
Henshaw. They've lost it. It's another fumble. Western Australia looks like they've recovered, and they'll take over inside the Sharks half of the field.
And that's the third time we've had a mix-up between the mesh of the centre and the quarterback, and that's sort of just trickled on into the mesh between the motioning receiver and the quarterback, and we get WA players in there causing pressure and in the right place at the right time to come up with a fumble recovery.
Connor Youngfree recovering there, the free safety getting sent on a blitz. And the change of quarterback, Charlie Reid coming in now. Charlie Reid, quick release, almost intercepted. Don't know if there was miscommunication there. Reid wanted a hitch. Going downfield was Bailey Beckingham. He wanted something a bit deeper.
Great protection from the offensive line. All linemen finding some work, and then the running back picking up the spare man off the edge. That's a great job.
Charlie Reid managed to generate some offense in game 1. Came in, started the second half against Queensland. Very different quarterback. We're utilising a bit of a different playbook too. Delafranca's now in at running back. He'll pass protect. They'll throw short. The pass is incomplete. Jumping on it in case it was a fumble was Jacob O'Halloran.
A little bit of second guessing there, receiver. Not quite sure whether or not that was considered a backward pass or a forward pass on the jailbreak screen, but ultimately just an incomplete.
Western Australia, all staff talked to me about how they were going to be undersized coming into this tournament, so they're going to have to do things a bit differently. They can't just pound it up the middle like they have with the Crooks boys. They're utilising a lot of outside screens. Charlie Reid catches the snap. Now he circles it back. He's going to get taken down though. On the sack. Number 58, Griffin O'Connor. He had the fumble recover earlier. And now he has a sack.
Great game for him so far, especially this first quarter. 2 big plays in the backfield, leading to turnovers.
And now it's 4th and forever.
Assuming this is a punt.
They have got their punter in. Jacques Flozat, his second punt of the day. Still getting some personnel sorted, so much so that I think Western Australia took a timeout.
Charge team timeout. Western Australia. That is their first for the half.
A bit of confusion there, so Western Australia will take their first time out of the half. Dane Robinson. As I said, let's get some more perspective here. Day 3 with potential championship standings on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not so much to compete in a national championship, but to affect other people. You were a head coach in a similar sort of situation with New South Wales and the WAGL last year. Are you even thinking about that, or are you thinking about the game at hand?
Look, I think before you come into these tournaments, everybody's got on their mind that we just want to win. Whether or not it's winning the tournament or winning the game that we're up to at the moment. Coaches, there might be some specific situations where you might try and play the game, if you will. But in most cases, I think the coach is just looking to win And if that doesn't happen, then maybe we'll look at plan B, getting the points up, keeping the score down, whatever it might be to sort of aid how the tournament's going to play out.
Jacques Flozard, high snap, recovers it nicely again. Kicks right to left here. Had plenty of time, and that's a good punt.
Out at the 11 or so, not a bad job. At least keeping South Australia inside their own 20-yard line.
So for South Australia to get things going now. Obviously, they've moved on to centre. If anyone's seen any of the previous games of South Australia, they had trouble in the shotgun. It's worth noting that their centre, Salomon Mobutu, isn't a usual centre. He's a good offensive lineman, but usually plays at guard position. They've had to move him to centre out of necessity. But I think they've actually moved him back to left guard now, so now they've actually changed up in centre. Snapping the ball now is number 69, Adam Dingley. Possibly more equipped to handle the under-centre snaps.
Oh, and first snap is a bit of a bobble.
They get some productivity out of it, maybe a yard. But on top of changing up the centre, what that actually means is they get Big Sol playing at guard, where he probably is a little more comfortable. He also...
You love to have your best run blocker out there at guard, out there at tackle, and leading the way for that running back out to the B and C gaps.
Yeah, check that. Sorry, I thought he was guard. He's moved to right tackle.
Another bobble.
Well, let's see how long they choose to persist with this. Seems like
I think
poison at the moment, and not in the best kind.
These type of problems usually happen one of two ways. Either the quarterback's hand isn't in there enough, if you get my drift, or the ball is not being sort of thrown back enough during that centre snap. Either way, the ball's not being where it's supposed to be, or not being met where it's supposed to be met, and that seems to be the reason for these bobbles.
We've got timeout. South
Official's
Australia,
timeout.
Check that, it's an official's timeout. We've got an injured player. That's number 73, Brad Boyd, from the Port Adelaide Spartans, receiving some medical attention now.
And the centre also seemed to be holding his snapping elbow. Perhaps he's gotten a hit to that arm, and maybe that's affecting how the snap is getting driven back there to the quarterback.
See them now, talking about how they're going to handle things. But more about on Salomon Mobutu. I was talking to Patrick Carroll, the head coach of the South Australian Sharks yesterday. Couldn't speak highly enough about this young man. Obviously, he'd be copping a lot of pressure, you know, whether it's from us in the commentary booth. You can't help but talk about the snaps there, and it must be pretty disheartening to constantly hear your work critique there. Apparently, it's water off a duck's back to him. As a matter of fact, in training, he was doing it. He wouldn't let it get to him. He goes, I'll get better the next time. Impressive stuff.
I think showing that mental toughness is just another attribute that shows that this is going to be one of those players for the future. Strong leader by the looks of it and by the sounds of it. Getting that constructive criticism and be able to take that on board and use that on. That's exactly what a coach wants to see.
There's Brad Boyd, the tough man, getting assisted off the field by Howard Brown.
And a speedy recovery to Boyd.
But yeah, and on top of that, apparently, in another show of good leadership, the last person who was giving him any slack for those snaps is the one guy who probably should have, which is Cooper Henshaw, the quarterback.
Of course, yes.
The one guy who's dealing with him. Apparently, he's the last person to be criticising him. I understand it's part of the development, and
that's also part of that role. Not everybody's suited to be the quarterback, despite what skills you might have. There's also that leadership element that's involved, and that takes a very specific type of player.
We've got 3rd and 10. Another one. He's going over the top, though. He's got a receiver who's got the first down. That's Brad Stanbury winning the fade route.
I mean, it's almost acting like a bit of a play action. Those linebackers and those defensive line driving forward to try and get that bobbled ball, and then you find yourself in a one-on-one scenario on the outside.
Exactly right. I think all those linebackers are just stopping and waiting, saying, can we recover this? Can we get on the stat sheet? But Stanbury this time getting on the stat sheet, catching that wheel route. Another bobble at the snap. Henshaw fighting for it. And taking him down was number 24. Now Fareem Smith, the linebacker again.
That's a great aggressive tackle there.
Hey, look,
That's a great job.
you got to say it. However this comes out, I got to say it. You get a chance to hit at the quarterback, you got to make it a good
They
one.
don't happen often, so you take your chances when you get them.
2nd and 11. Following that loss of yardage. Much better snap this time around. He gets a clean ball out, but it's intercepted. I think that's Youngfree. Youngfree gets to the top of his hops and brings this ball back to the South Australian 30.
Great job by the safety there, just waiting and watching and outside of the quarterback's vision. Sneaks in there once the ball's gone, and he's off for about 10-15 yards extra there.
And he's been waiting for that. The wide receiver convert to free safety. Read that ball nicely. And well, you know what? I didn't think I got the chance to talk to Coach Hollywood about this, but we're seeing so many of the DBs and wide receivers be able to high point the ball better than any tournament before, I think.
Actually, I think Australians in general are quite good at being able to pick up some of those receiver skills, high pointing the ball, the diamond catch, if you will. It's coming, I guess, from AFL, from lineouts maybe in rugby, from high ball pass in rugby league. You've got basketball, all to use the same techniques and skills, which translate quite well into wide receiver and sometimes, as we saw there, DB.
Grigorovich, the safety midlining at running back, taking the carry there. And I think that's a case of the sports profile raising, and now we're getting athletes from so many other sports, and honestly, athletes that are good at other sports coming over and trying their hand.
I think, whatever you do, you sort of might want to advance what you're trying to do instead of your own personal
Hold
development.
the phone, coach. Here's Lockie Pink on the end around. Hasn't got a whole lot of space. Galley takes a shot at him. He reverses field. Still not taken down. Still breaking tackles. Matter of fact, he's almost tackled by his own player, and eventually it's Rossi taking him down in the backfield. A lot of effort for no yards.
50 yards run and -5 gained. Great gang tackling from South Australia, and we've got 7 guys on the ball there. That's a great job by the Sharks.
Rossi's a tough guy, but as is Pink. Gee, how many broken tackles on that one? Now we've got 3rd and 17. O'Connor, who's having a good day at defensive end. You saw him on screen just there. In their 3-3 stack, he's playing in that 5-tech position. Currently over the right tackle. He's making pressure.
And there's the pressure again.
Pass couldn't be completed there to Jacob O'Halloran on the outside. Fourth and 17 now. We'll see another punt. Towards the end of the first quarter, we are still scoreless, 0-0.
And that's in line with the sort of scoring that we saw in the previous games. Again, South Australia only averaging 12 points between the two games. WA with 8 between the two games, so an average of 4. So I think we should be expecting a defensively focused game.
And I'll save some thoughts for after the punt here from Flozar. Plenty of time again. He even considers taking some running yards first, and will he pin them in again? It'll be a touchback. They'll take it out to the 20, and I'll tell you what, 0-0 towards the end of the first quarter. I would love if we had a camera on both Camp New South Wales and Camp Victoria right now.
Exactly right. They'd be loving watching this game, and now that we're in sort of the back or peak heat now, they'd be relieved that they've got their game out of the way.
Just to remind the situation, so if Western Australia win today, Victoria will go through. If South Australia win, Victoria must beat Queensland to go through. Otherwise, New South Wales can overjump them with for and against due to the 3-way tie. South Australia's in with a sniff. And I actually checked that. They're in with the faintest of sniffs. They can get within 4 points, but unfortunately too far away on for and against. So, another solid tackle in the backfield there.
Great outside containment again. That defensive end there, hand on the ground.
Oh, and of course, no surprises there. Coming off a huge game 2 nights ago. Jake Sadyan. And there's the official end of the first quarter. The two teams will swap sides. And going into the second quarter, the scores are still locked up 0-0.
Great defensive battle here today. We've had some great plays from both number 58 on South Australian Sharks, Griffin O'Connor. Great plays, 2 or 3 of them causing a lot of delays up in the backfield, causing 2 fumbles, I believe it was. One of them was the recovery. I think on the other side, the defensive line has been, as a unit, getting immense pressure on the quarterback, causing problems with the exchange, causing problems in being able to step up and throw those short balls. So defensive line as a unit for the Raiders have been doing a great job.
Now, to further talk more about the seeding and playoff implications, the standings implications, one team we haven't talked about is Queensland, which is sitting pretty right now in first position, but they are not 100% home. If things go to plan and for New South Wales get put in contention here with a South Australian win. If Victoria win by 33 or more, we will see Victoria versus New South Wales final. So while we got a chance, let's recap the scores from the tournament so far. There was day one, the tail of the tape. Queensland with a big win over WA. Victoria 14-10 over New South Wales. A tight win from South Australia, 22 points to 20 over the All-Stars.
Some close games in that round.
And quick recap, day 2, 49-0 Queensland, 38-14 Victoria, and 34-0 to New South Wales. They really hit their straps in that game.
I'll keep my bias out of that.
2nd and 16 to start off the second quarter. Under center, they remain 2 backs in the backfield, split backs. Nice exchange. Looking for a slant. They'll get it. And a nice completion there for South Australia. Bringing it in is number 84, Jack Kelton.
Fantastic job by the offensive line. Plenty of time. Quarterback standing there, tall and confident. Delivers the great ball. And that's a first down.
Kelton, haven't called his name a whole lot throughout the tournament. Good to see him getting involved there. He is near side wide receiver again. Matched up with Ryan Evans. Another tough exchange. Cooper Henshaw's going to try his best. Has he lost it? I'd like to think the knee is down. And I think the referees will share that opinion, but it looks like they'll discuss it.
A little bit of frustration there finally showing through. A couple of bobbles.
The ruling on the field is that the player's knee was down. 2nd down.
So
the bobbles really started to take effect here on the quarterback, it seems.
Yeah, he can take a breath though. They will remain in possession. 2nd and 7. Henshaw drops back, looks to his left, completes a pass. I think that's to Sam Young.
And that's a great catch.
There it is, getting low for that one is Sam Young. Trying to replicate some of the numbers he achieved against the All-Stars on day 1.
That's right, already no stranger to the end zone.
Our only touchdown scorer so far. Under pressure as Henshaw escapes to the left. Rolling now, going to look to beat the lineman with athleticism. Takes it out of bounds, picks up a first down. Nicely done, Cooper Henshaw.
Great bit of ad-libbing there by the quarterback. Flushed out of the pocket and makes a great play running down that sideline again. Number 12 taking their corner deep. Number 25 out of the equation in that particular scenario. Great run.
1st and 10 now, fresh set of downs for the Sharks. He's got a player open in the slot. He's got him. It's Young. Young tries to shake the first tackler, as he's done so successfully throughout this tournament, but it's a nice stop there by Kai Torsvik.
Make a bit of a change to an empty formation. 5 receivers, no backs. It's either going to be quarterback keep or it's going to be a pass.
What makes you nervous there is there's less guys to potentially recover a fumble with the way things have been going.
Exactly right. And again, that same empty set.
Empty set, lonely quarterback. He throws quickly, trying to hit his man Young. Passes underthrown, incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and 6.
Again, great pressure by this Raiders defensive line. Really driving through the inside and forcing that quarterback to flush out around the corner and be in a position he doesn't necessarily want to be in to try and get that pass complete.
The long arms there of Mabutu. Such an advantage in the trenches. 3rd down conversion here. 3rd and 5. They call it. 3-step drop, launching it downfield. He's got 2 receivers open. Unfortunately, the pass sails over the sideline, and that will be 4th down.
And as we were saying, that right tackle, great job in blocking.
And we have got a South Australia
Officials timeout.
I think it's Kyle McAley, perhaps. Could be Adam Dingley also. See some of the crowds here at Sydney Academy of Sport and Recreation here in Narrabeen. About an hour north of Sydney. At least the city of Sydney anyway.
I can confirm the drive took that long.
Charge team timeout. South Australia. That is their first.
They're potentially buys him back in.
Australia will go ahead and extend that timeout by taking one of their team ones, their first of 3. So,
Possibly
2
an
timeouts remaining for both sides.
Possibly an opportunity to get a bit of water in. It is heating up here today. We are sort of cooking. We're about 26 degrees right now, says the weatherman.
Your fancy watching your weatherman watch you got rocking there. Let's take a look at the plate.
Number 74, the right-hand side of your screen, Mabutu. Great blocking here, keeping the defensive rush at bay. Great stance, great centre, great lower center of gravity. Really, really good job.
No thinking too about receivers though. You had 2 receivers there whilst both open, both in the same spot of the field. Not usually what you want.
Not necessarily. It makes that job a little bit easier for any defensive backs in the area to be able to cover that whole area and anyone that's in it.
On 4th down, I don't see Jai Field lining up there. It's Henshaw and his offense. They'll search for the first points of this game.
Empty set again. It's going to be important not to bobble this snap and get this ball away.
Two receivers, plus a tight end out to the right. They will look for a stick concept, and it's incomplete. Almost intercepted with an acrobatic play at the ball there by number 80, Connor McFillin.
Great play. Dropping back, finding some work, and a slightly off-put pass. Nearly going the other way. Dropping back front.
You see Ben Keane there? Ben Keane. A lot of good comments his way, on top of being a talented player. Also won the Sportsman of the Year. Out of seeing some of the cameramen take care of business there, but yeah, won the Sportsmanship Award of the Year, I think, in Gassa a season ago. Pitch out to the right for Western Australia following that punt. It's Grigorovich. Look at the run. He's got a stiff arm going to finish that run and takes it just shy of the South Australian 40.
Smart running, and we've seen it through, rather from South Australia all day. Great outside containment. This time, though, they're getting a little bit wide, and the running back able to cut it straight up north-south and get the most efficient way of getting those yards.
A call there from John Freestone on the live stream comments, talking about identifying the officials and where they're from. Good idea. I will get those names and locations to you shortly. Also, Zaya Dimitri McMahon tuning in, a former Shark from a campaign ago back in 2017.
A bobble of their own.
And another recovery from the Sharks. Ethan Galley taking this ball away, and this turnover game continues.
Unfortunate end to this try. They had such a good start with that great run to begin with.
Well, you just feel it's the team that can execute for a full drive might just be enough to take this game away with the way it's going.
Exactly right.
obviously you commit to a game plan, they change something, they saw the snaps weren't working through them with the shotgun, they moved the center. If things proceed the way they are, how far until you go back to that in your opinion as a coach?
I mean, you really try and stick with your base playbook as much as you can.
So we see another set. We'll go back to those thoughts. Quick play to Young. Young can do some damage. Young will keep going. Young will take it inside the 35. And there's a Sam Young we saw shades of from game one.
Great pass by this quarterback here. Setting up, confident and tall. Great ball on the money. And number 8 making a great play.
Yeah, Sam Young. And looks like they've moved him into the slot and played a lot of the first game on the outside. As for the second game, looks like they're trying to get him involved a little more. And if they've got to go to the quick game, it's a little easier for them to get it done when he's sitting in the slot.
I think this empty set as well, really spreading out the Raiders' defense, making a lot of one-on-one matchups. And I think just like you say, Sam Young getting him one-on-one might be the game plan.
Hind letter on the outside there, the biggest of the South Australian wide receivers. And Miloš Vesel, Coach Wolf, is tuned in as well. He'll be calling the next game with me. He can't be far away. Another quick shot, getting up there. Here's one of the SA receivers, Rogan Beard, jumping up there.
From that tight end position, not far to throw the ball. It should be an easy completion, and it is, and great results on the back end of that.
We saw the hops there from Rogan Beard, some of the explosives that shouldn't come.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 23 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Also roughing the passer to the end of that, so things are starting to swing the way of the Sharks. But Rogan Beard, I'll finish off that thought, recently moved from South Australia to Newcastle, so it wasn't as far of a trip for him.
Okay.
I think it's for university purpose, but it's also, I think, because he competes in competitive cheerleading, I think, as well, where obviously you've seen some of the athleticism from some of the athletes there. You can see the hops
he got up
to get
there.
there. So 1st and 10, first trip in the red zone for the Sharks. Ooh, almost what can be considered a false start there. Will they give it to Young on the end around, but he gets hit in the face early.
Eaten alive by that defensive end. Outside containing again. Great job by the defensive line of the Raiders.
Jake Sadyan.
Great tackle.
Good job reading the play as he gets downfield. Especially in a lot of these 4-man defensive line sets, they always talk about tackling the ball carrier en route to the quarterback. It's the best way to think about it. Rush your lanes and read what's coming to them. 2nd and 15 following that big defensive play by Sadyan. 3-step drop by Henshaw. Henshaw looking for Hindletter once again, just out of his reach. They'll make it 3rd and 15.
Just off target that time, but you don't blame the quarterback for going there. I mean, look at the length of the arms of that receiver.
Coverage on the play, of course, is Oliver Harmer. And 3rd and 15, I'd say it's probably a short 15 of that. Might even be closer to 3rd and 14.
15 yards to go. They're still electing to keep 2 backs in the backfield.
Well, that's the pass protect or participate. We'll see. Player in motion. Young's in the slot. I think that's where he's going for. Young free with a great play on the ball. No pick, but enough to bring up 4th down.
Great stretch, great angles. Good job there from Young Free, the safety, to read that ball. Quarterback's locked on from the get-go, and safety nearly coming up with a bit of an OBJ type catch.
Yeah, well, maybe he's just showing off why he's moved from wide receiver to DB. Had to go there. 4th down now, 4th and 14. No field goals here. Henshaw will line by himself. Quick drop, looking, and the receiver was not expecting that. Clearly some miscommunication there. Henshaw wanted him early, and the receiver, I think it was Theo Ashley, was expecting to get into the end zone. So, turnover on downs, and we thought the Sharks might have had an opportunity there to be the first team on the board.
It was a great opportunity for them. Unfortunate they couldn't get it done that time.
7 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the first half, with neither team able to break the deadlock. Both teams either punting the way or giving the ball back. Westlake with a delayed handoff, and this running game can't get going either.
Ethan Galley, number 71 from South Australia, bursting through the O-line of the Raiders. Nearly able to cause a big problem in the backfield, but luckily the quarterback's able to get that away to the running back, and they slip off a survival run.
Westlake trying to identify his running back. I think it could be De La Franca. They will give it to him. He'll try to beat the defense, but I think the initial contact there is by number 21, Tom Martin. Great block in the middle there to take Galley down.
He's earning that double team, which just says how much of a factor he is.
Inside 6 minutes we tick. 5:55, as I say. And we've still got a third down. Third down and a long 8. It's a deep drop here from Westlake. He'll hit the flat. He's got it. Is that Pink running away from defenders? No, it's number 7, Kiffin Gibbs.
I thought it was a very risky pass, but high risk, high reward. As you can see, this receiver manages to turn this up and get that first down. Number 10, Jai Field, nearly in a position to take that the other way, all the way.
Worth noting, it is Westlake back in quarterback. Earlier they rotated Charlie Reid in. Wouldn't be surprised if they almost end up dual playing that position. Wouldn't be surprised if, with the brilliance of the Hondas at the offensive helm, if they end up getting both those guys in the field at some point. Westlake throwing off his back foot, but he's got an open receiver. Taking that as Flozar, the tight end, split out wide to the right. He picks up a first down.
Great pass and catch there from the quarterback and receiver. That's got to be one they've practiced a bunch of times. So you know that's going to be one of their go-tos, especially when they need a base play to get moving.
And he had to throw that off his back foot. He had Rossi sweating on him on an inside linebacker blitz. South Australia, being one of the smaller defenses in the tournament, have been forced to blitz to generate pressure. Here they go again. They try to go to the outside, getting a hand to the ball though. Very nicely done is Levi Hurst.
Great play by Levi Hurst there. Really pressure that ball. We're talking inches from being able to pick that and go the other way. It seems to be the trend for the South Australia defence, who are edging closer and closer to a defensive turnover.
And I could be incorrect here, but you know what we haven't seen this tournament, Coach? A pick 6.
That we haven't. Well, based on what I'm seeing at the moment, I would hazard a guess that South Australia are going to be the first ones there.
David Christie got awfully close. I think we even saw one get called back earlier in the tournament. 5-step drop from Westlake, who has to throw off his back foot, aiming for Flozau again, but this hits the turf, incomplete. 2nd and 10 now shown on the sticks.
And now the pressure becoming a real factor for WA. It was the Raiders causing all the pressure on the quarterback of the Sharks, but now that seems to have changed songs, changed the table, and WA now getting pressured from this 3-man front.
Under center again. Also the Westlake going under center a fair bit too. He goes to a 3-step drop, can't get it away. I think that's Rogan Beard coming in with a sack. And they send quite a few. Rogan Beard, the beneficiary of a big blitz.
Great call there by the defensive coordinator, calling that blitz, flooding this left-hand side of the offensive line. Too many people coming and not enough people blocking.
Fourth down now. Punt units. Nope. Westlake's out there under centre. Fourth and long. He lets this fly. Flozar's underneath. He's got it. I don't think he's quite got enough. It'll be awfully close. Nice jump ball there by Flozar.
A little shoulder dip from the quarterback. Try and keep those defensive backs low and playing the bubble route there by the slot receiver. Bit of a sort of show and go, if you will.
Indeed, well.
And speaking of hops earlier, that's a great jump and leap to catch that ball, high point that ball, and still come down with it.
Whilst it was a nice show, off the offense goes from Western Australia. Not enough for the first down, less than a foot short. So another turnover on downs. We see South Australia see if they can be the team now deep in the second quarter to try and get on the board. Tamoki now on Tamoki, I should say, now on offense.
Great starting position here for the Sharks, but a 2-yard run. Not terrible news, but certainly not something that we'd like to settle for. We're looking for at least 3 on every run. Coaches will be thinking simple maths.
Indeed.
You need 10 yards in 4 turns, usually 3 because you'll kick it on 4th.
And we see now in slot coming back from a head knock, a concussion in game 1 is Tamoki Tuikaba. They're using him in offense predominantly. A defensive player. Let's see what he can contribute on the offensive side of the ball. But this catch is made there by the big man hind leader.
Great concept underneath here. The inside receiver heads vertical, takes their defender with them out of the way, creating that space for Hindlander to get through and run the slant. Nice, easy completion.
I wouldn't be surprised if they use Tamoki not just as a blocker but as an athlete. As far as I understand, he is also a noted basketball player. Let's see if they can use some of that vertical explosion. They'll throw to the left to Sam Young. Sam Young battling, but it's a DB coming up with it. What a grab, and turning into a wide receiver is the 19 and Ryan Evans.
Fantastic play from Evans. Running stride for stride with the receiver. And just going to get that ball.
Does a great job turning into a wide receiver here, doesn't he?
That's a great job.
So, South Australia, they were starting to build a little momentum with a couple of passes completed. On comes the defense again. The Raiders now, they get to run a 2-minute drill. They've got 2 timeouts in hand, as does South Australia, but in possession are the Raiders. We're seeing the crowd start to arc up, or at least one gentleman.
He's in the spirit.
Love it. Come on, Raiders, is the call from the crowd. They choose to run it here. There's another lost ball, and the tides turn again. The Sharks take over. Sharks now with the opportunity to take a lead going into the half.
Oh, that is a clean fumble. Number 71.
Ethan Galley.
It's not the first time we've said his name getting into the backfield. Great job.
Gets the poke check, if you will. A little bit of hockey terminology for you. Been a while since I've called one of those.
Heads up moment from Hurst there to dive on that ball.
Oh, held the phone. A flag down, I'm hearing late. Did not see it on our vision.
After the change of possession, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 71 on South Australia. Half distance penalty. First down.
There we go.
That is 71's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
I was hearing it was after the possession. He said first down, but he's pointed the direction of the...
South Australia are going to end up with this, and
should be a South Australian ball if my interpretation is correct, from Kevin Chen from Victoria, the white hat official for today. Just trying to see, it looks like the South Australian offense is going on. He did say after the possession, so just after we were pumping up Ethan Galley's tyres there, he gives up an unsportsmanlike. One more of those and he's out of here, and we've seen enough of that for a tournament.
I certainly don't want to see that, and given the amount of times that we've said his name today, that would definitely be a big loss for this team should he see the wrong side of the referee.
He splits the double team to get into the backfield. Big left paw poking that ball out.
Great job, and I don't think it was anything overly sinister, but maybe a bit of a staunch that was probably unnecessary.
Recovering the ball there was Levi Hurst. A couple of times we've called him as well. All these linebackers getting opportunities to recover the football.
And that's what part of the thing with this three-man defensive line of the South Australian Sharks. It really frees up those linebackers to be free and causes some problems for the O-line for who's that fourth rusher.
In 2 minutes 20, the situation is more or less the same, just the teams reverse. South Australia now with 2 timeouts and 2 minutes and 20 to try to sneak on the board.
South Australia looking aggressive with that empty set again, no running backs.
Under center is Henshaw. Henshaw looks to his left, looks to his right, calls for the snap. It's clean. He's forced up. He'll just pick up some tough yardage. He must have felt the pressure real quick because he stepped up pretty much as soon as he stepped back.
Something wasn't as it was supposed to be, and the internal clock sort of ran out real quick, and he knew he just had to make what he could out of this play.
Now I think, look, I don't know how much under center stuff Henshaw plays back in South Australia for the South City Chiefs, but you saw him step up there, and I think that's a 2-minute warning being called on the field now. I think that's a common situation from a quarterback used to playing in shotgun or pistol, because they can step up immediately because they're already separated. You're turning that into a 3-step drop and you don't get back to your 3rd step. You step up, you're straight past the line of scrimmage.
Not only that, but if your 3 steps aren't very big, you're going to be right there where the offensive line and the defensive line are.
5-step, but he's running. He's going to turn into a ball carrier here, takes it out of bounds, gets hit out of bounds, and that'll be a flag. McFillin, the man pinged likely on the situation.
And that might be a bit of a lucky break here for South Australia. They were well and truly contained.
Yeah, you need to show a bit of awareness there. I get it. You're trying to make a play. You're trained to chase the ball carrier, but he was on the sideline there.
A bit of a costly mistake here from the Raiders. But they're playing well, so I'm hoping that they can still make this stop here.
Oh, we might have lost the umpire audio there. Referee audio there, but there we go. We might have the old reversal. He's turned
No, it's a late hit.
Well, then signal late hit. Don't signal rough on the pass.
I didn't see. Okay, it's a late hit.
Got your microphones on backwards. Turn it off now. Just trying to help you out, buddy.
Sorry? Yeah.
There we go. Nicely done. So, flag on the play, late hit. That moves the Sharks as close as they've been all first half.
Empty formation again. We're looking for a pass.
Henshaw, good exchange, wants a quick game. Won't get it. Was trying to get hind leader. Pass behind him on the double slants to the left-hand side.
And that's an unlucky play. It looks like the window was there.
So it's hard to comment on it because we haven't seen a whole lot of red zone offense today. 1 trip so far. What do you think South Australia should be looking at to try and capitalise here?
I think they've got the right idea. This empty formation allows for one-on-one scenarios, and picking who's going to be your best man against theirs, or the best matchup that you like, is, I think, the right way to go. Sam
Young's on the left, but they'll throw to the right. Another interceptor, Youngfree. Youngfree could go, but he's taken down from behind, eventually finished off by Henshaw. Youngfree again collecting his 2nd red zone interception.
That's a great job. Number 32 getting at least 20 yards on the return. Read and react. Great catch.
Holding the ball like a loaf of bread, though. Another job. Jeez, these end zones have got all the walls up for both of these sides. 1:13 remaining. Raiders now with an opportunity. This is, well, I'll tell you what, the tension's building about which team
exactly right
can avoid the turnover.
And I think the issue is here, both teams just seem to be shooting themselves in the foot a little bit once it comes to getting in the end zone.
I've lost track of turnover numbers, I'll tell you what. There's a fair few of them. Incomplete pass.
Miscommunication there, I think. Timing a little bit off. 17 not quite expecting the ball yet. That's Jacques Floza.
Should have verified officials and our chain crew there. Michael Kerr to the left of your screen. And getting confirmation that 1 minute and 7 seconds is remaining in the half. Lockie Pink giving the camera a bit of a wave.
You've got to be thinking aggressive here from WA. To go into half-time with the score in your favour would be a huge lift mentally going into the second half.
Westlake looking for Pink. Off his hands, 2nd down and 10.
And just missing the target there that time. Number 14, Lockie Pink, inches from being able to make that catch. Third and 11 by the looks of things.
And Westlake will get under centre once again. It looks like both these teams have made the changes to get their quarterback under centre this game. Trying to hit Flo Zai. Had registered a couple of hookups with the tight end this game. Not on that situation.
It looked like it was all there, except I think it was Griffin O'Connor getting in the backfield and causing a problem. Maybe hooking the arm of the quarterback, causing that ball to hit the dirt early.
4th down, they're sending the punt in and out, so they won't turn the ball over in bad decision, or on bad field position, I should say. They're going to try and create some distance with a punt here. But both these defenses far too good for their opposing offenses.
Exactly right. Neither offense being able to capitalise here. There have been opportunities, but not yet able to hit the target, as we were saying.
Charge team timeout. Western Australia. That is their 2nd.
Western Australia have taken a timeout here. I don't know if there was a bit of miscommunication about whether they want to go for it or a bit general personnel changes. Obviously, at this point, some people are subbing out for a breather, although halftime is only 57 seconds away.
I think you're spot on there. A timeout in this situation is usually one of two things. Either someone wasn't on when they were supposed to be on, or maybe we're going to give everyone the heads up that we're doing that special play, that fake play right now.
Oh, jeez. They're going to kill you if this is one of those. Be honest, Dane, how many clipboards have you lost due to special teams personnel mistakes?
I've started to not use clipboards, just the paper, because it sounds a little less aggressive when you're sort of smacking your own hand or leg with that thing.
Probably also a little bit cheaper too by the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly right.
57 seconds. In punt formation with Jacques Flozat. And I'll explain that little hand wave in a second. He's recovered it again. His centre definitely owes him a Coke later this tournament, and if the punt's gone away, will they choose to return it? Western Australia will say no, they'll collect it there. And South Australia will take over around their own 40. Look, there's a couple of good blocks on special teams here.
And that's just good aggressiveness there by Gibbs, number 7, driving down the field to go down that punt, taking on blockers all the way. With 46 seconds left here on the clock, I'm expecting South Australia to stay as aggressive as they were, probably in that empty formation, and get those one-on-one passes as much as we can.
Flags are down here. I'm not sure if you guys got that on the stream there, but it was a holding call and it was declined. So play will stand. 46 seconds. And I thought I saw one of the crazier lead-ins to halftime yesterday with New South Wales versus WA. There's a couple of a shot of our camera guys. There's Ethan Lee on camera 1. Giving us a cheeky thumbs up there. And he's the one providing you our wide shots. Big fan of Japanese anime. Just throw that fact out there.
Know your cameraman.
I gotta know. And why not go through a few more of our camera operators. Yeah, there's a couple of other guys from he's one of our guys who actually dealt with a bit of heat stroke earlier, but he's back up with an umbrella and some water and hydration.
Trooper.
After us. There's the final guy there. I think his name is Dale, if serves correctly. Yeah, there it is. 46 seconds remaining after our little meet our cameraman segment.
Ref still having a bit of a chat to the coaches. Head coach Carroll from South Australia still discussing, I think, some of the finer details there of that last call.
And there's Paul Mills, the fearless leader of live streaming Brisbane. Interesting now, I'm seeing a lot of the Queensland coaches tuning into the stream, scanning out potential opponents, although there is unlikely situation that either of these teams will meet Queensland in the final. And oh, let's see if I can actually do this. I'm hearing getting a phone call from Coach Rowe. Probably put this on speaker. Coach Rowe.
What's our previous line of scrimmage, mate? I've tried fourth and one from where?
Trying to get that communicated. Previous line of scrimmage. If our referee in the hood there can get that source. Previous line of scrimmage is what the officials are looking for. That's what this delay is resulting of. Minute in the booth, they're trying to work that out, scrubbing through the footage. Bear with us, audience. As Dane, I'll get you to throw you in the deep end and get you to spin for a couple of seconds.
I think he's got an exciting opportunity here. We're somewhere around the 30-yard line. And again, South Australia will be hopefully looking to be aggressive here in the last 46 seconds of this game. Quarterback Rogan Beard on the other side here. My apologies, Marcus Westlake. Ref still trying to decide / figure out where this line of scrimmage is. Here we go, we're moments away from finding out ourselves. Looks like the 23, 2. 23 looks like the official word, the 23-yard line. Fourth and 10 on the 23 looks like the official word. Referee is now relaying the information.
Well, that's one of the more interesting things I've done in my time in the booth. So it looks like it will be the last set line of scrimmage was 4th and 10 on the WA 23, and now they will enforce the penalty from it. Obviously, American football, a finicky game.
A little bit stop-start, you could say.
And Sean Rowe sending me his appreciations there as he assists the officials on the official line.
The ruling on the field is illegal substitution on the defense. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced. 4th down. WA's ball.
There we go. So a 5-yard enforcement there for an illegal substitution on the previous line of scrimmage from the 23. They'll get marched back, and we will see this punt again.
Marched up to the 28 now.
Marched up, I should say. So they're going from the 23 to the 28 after the illegal substitution by South Australia. In any case, bear with us. it's all right by the end of it.
There we go.
All right, back to football. Westlake under centre with trips out to the right. 46 seconds remaining in the longest first half of football. As we see Grigorovich get wrestled down by a whole school of sharks.
I like that one.
Yeah, you do.
Again, great defence by South Australia, real swarming. The plan here, I think, by Western Australia, drive those trips receivers up the field, try and make space for our quick running back here, but South Australia sniffed that out from the get-go. Now, great field position.
Tell you what, we're going to need a half-time after all that.
Yeah, well said.
Sure, we're looking at shortening the halves there. Or else this last game's not going to kick off till 6 p.m. Thank you for bearing with us, everyone here at the ground and on this stream at home. But we're back to football action now. 0-0, South Australia trying to put some points on the board. Neither team able to do it. Incomplete pass, bringing up 2nd and 10.
Empty set, as we mentioned earlier. 5 wide receivers causing that one-on-one scenario across the board.
Yeah, they've sort of not changed formation. They've kind of stayed in this formation here. It's either that or it's a split back formation. Now, it's worth noting the last 2 games have not seen these formations, so whether this playbook's brought in for the 3rd game, it looks like they've gone for diversity in plays rather than formation. Same formation, except 38's been moved out to the slot on the left-hand side of the field, the opposite to which Henshaw will roll. He'll hit Young, I think. And they'll take a timeout. I can hear Patrick Carroll screaming it on the Shark sideline.
I sort of roll out here from the quarterback.
Charge team timeout. South Australia, that is their 2nd.
Check that. Not Sam Young. It was Ben Keane picking up the catch. 1 timeout left for South Australia. 0 for WA. 22 seconds remaining in the game. For everyone here in the ground, players, fans, coaches alike, 22 seconds left. 1 timeout remaining in possession of South Australia. Now, ball is on what looks like the 13-yard line. South Australia have been down here a couple times now, but have been picked off twice and turned the ball over as well on downs. Henshaw grabs it, rips it, has got Young or Kane. It's Young, and there it is. Our first points of this game. 18 seconds out from halftime. Sam Young, the lone scorer for South Australia, adds his 4th touchdown of the tournament.
And that's in wide open spaces there for Young. Great job to get open here. It looks like there's real soft coverage on the backside, or either double coverage here on number 11 Hindleader. Leaving Young wide open spaces in the flat.
And that's where he's probably found most of his success there. Just floating out on that wheel from the slot. 2-point conversion attempt here. This time they do have running backs in the backfield. Tuikaba in motion. He'll be there to block. Henshaw will keep it. Can he get in there for 2? Meets some stiff defense. Looking at both officials.
Like fell
and
forward.
He's short. The score will remain 6-0. South Australia taking a 6-point lead going into the half with 15 seconds remaining.
Great hit there. And that, I think he might have fell into the end zone, depending on when the refs called this play.
On the screen, obviously, it looks like a touchdown. The officials have claimed that his momentum...
There it is.
Stopped over. They've called it back. They've had a discussion. Successful 2-point conversion. That now brings the score to 8 points to 0. Thanks to the successful 2-point quarterback rush.
Great initial hit there by number 58. That's Josh Poeta. Quarterback number 3 Cooper Henshaw falling forward with assistance from the team driving him into the end zone. And while there was a fumble on the back end, we're already in the end zone, so we've got to count that 2-point score.
He might have paid a pretty hefty price, though. He's still down. Getting looked at there by the medical staff of the Sharks. Hasn't any guess? That's Jonathan Papastamatis. And one team had to be the first to score.
I think that initial tackle, or that stop on the 1 or 2 yard line by number 58, Josh Poeta. If I'm reading this correctly, he's 16.
Yeah, a lot of young guys. Both of these sides. Particularly the Raiders, we talked about it before. They're the youngest grouping in this tournament, averaging in 17.22 years. So, not that it will ultimately play a factor, but right now South Australia's point differential sits at -35. As South Australia clapping off their leader.
Maybe in high spirits now with this going into this halftime with an 8-0 lead.
And you can hear the respect Cooper Henshaw commands from his team. The cheers of Coop, Coop, Coop as he walks to the sideline.
Hopefully the next 10 or 15 minutes will be enough for him to sort of catch his breath, and hopefully we'll see him fine as in the second half.
So WA's now out ready to receive this ball. They've got 15 seconds to see if they can't schoolyard their way to some points of their own. Neither of these teams noted field goal kickers either, so the idea of getting into field goal range, not quite a factor based on history. But hey, in this game, especially on returns, you never know what can happen. We saw New South Wales squib it leading into the half to make sure nothing happened. Let's see if South Australia takes a similar route. The kicker is Abdul Jalul, and boy have I got some stories about him I might save for the second half. He decides to kick this traditionally. Into the hands of Young Free it goes. Young Free's been dangerous. Can he get some open space? Cuts back. Oh, he's beaten 2 defenders and eventually is taken down. Catches the flag that's thrown in the field with his open hand. And it looks like we'll have about 5 seconds remaining in the game following that return.
Big return here. Running cross field. Always dangerous for any of those that kickoff team that might get checked on the way through from blockers turning around.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 58 on the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down, WA.
The block in the back against Griffin O'Connor. Oh, sorry, my apologies, wrong team list. Josh Poeta, a man who almost got the stop on the 2-point conversion. They'll move the Raiders backward.
Maybe time for one more play here.
So, well, Marcus Westlake has got an arm if they can give him some time, but they also might try to look at throwing it underneath and tossing it around.
Based on what they've done previously this half, I'm thinking something short, some sort of screen, maybe a running back, short play.
I would be totally open to the old schoolyard play. They go long here to Pink. Pink's got it. Will he look for support? He's broken free. It's a foot race. Don't tell me. Lockie Pink down the 20, the 10, and Western Australia. They hit it back. We've waited all the way to the final 23 seconds for the first points of this game from both sides. But in miraculous fashion, Lockie Pink, right in front of us here at the Combox, has brought the Western Australian Raiders back within 2 points.
That is a fantastic play from Lockie Pink. That's a one-man play, and well and truly the opposite of what I thought was going to happen, but one-man show. He goes up and high points that ball, and manages to break 2 tackles, or one break up on the ball plus a tackle, and he's off to the races. Great, fantastic reception and score.
And maybe a mistake there in pass coverage there. You know you've just got to tackle him. You weren't playing for the ball. I can't help but think of the Minnesota Miracle.
Exactly
Stephon
right.
Diggs. Go for the tackle rather than the ball play. Let's take a look at on the sideline cam, hey? Stephon Diggs right there.
Slightly misjudged playing the ball there by the Sharks. Number 14, Lockie Pink, he just high points that ball. He's got the height and the length already in comparison to his man.
We saw it in front of us. Look at him and the rest of the offense getting G'd up.
Exactly right. Here we are thinking that South Australia going into the half with an 8-point lead. Wide receivers, WA not ready to sit down this time.
And we've got an injured Shark down, hence the delay here for the 2-point conversion. We have still got a 2-point conversion to come. As Patrick Carroll trying to tell his team to keep calm, trying to get a look at the injured player. Getting carried up is Jai Field. Does a lot of that kicking though, so he looks like he's got a lower leg injury. They're going to have to make some changes on special teams if he's to leave here. That's possibly
being helped
a big
off
loss
the
for the
field,
Sharks.
but hopefully nothing too serious for him.
Well, getting carried off doesn't look comfortable. But geez, wow, we had to wait long enough.
What a great play that was.
Had to wait 23 minutes. But there are the goalposts. I don't think anyone's going to be kicking any PATs today, but here come the Raiders from Western Australia with a chance to tie this up going into the half. Jeez, they have not made things easy for Team New South Wales and Victoria.
Exactly right.
Going for 2. Westlake, quick game, looking out to the left. It's incomplete. No flags. So that's South Australia's stop there to create this 2-point buffer going into halftime. That is the end of the first half.
Right idea, trying to get that one-on-one matchup. Not a terrible ball either.
So with that in mind, South Australia have done enough to claim a 2-point lead heading into halftime here in a game that was, well, it was at a standstill for about 23 minutes before both teams exploded onto the scoreboard. We will gather our thoughts here and we'll see you on the other side of halftime in approximately 12 minutes for those watching at home. See you soon. All right, welcome back, both to those here at the ground at the Sydney Sports Academy, or Academy of Sports and Recreation, I correct myself, and all to those viewing all around Australia and the world. We are kicking off the second half here of Game 2, Day 3 of the Junior AGL hashtag JNats, as South Australia will be receiving it now. We had quite the defensive battle leading up to the final 2 minutes of the first half, and we saw two explosive plays lead to the two touchdowns of the first half within the final minute. I'll use this opportunity to bring back my color commentator Dane Robinson.
It's been a great game today, especially defensively. There's a lot of players on both defences that have been playing some really, really good football. South Australia, I really like seeing Griffin O'Connor in the first half, and hopefully continue to be a menace on that defensive line in the second half here for the South Australia team. For the Raiders, who are on defence at the moment, Josh Poeta, who's been having a couple of great plays on the back end of that second quarter. So keep an eye out for him this half too.
Here goes Henshaw out of the 2-point conversion with his feet. This time on first down, gets the ball back past the sticks.
No lanes for that quarterback to turn up into. Great defense there, gap control.
As we see South Australia line up again on second down and 9. Now we've lost our main down changer in the booth, so I'll be trying to keep you abreast of that scenario of the down and distance for those watching at home. And that makes it third down and 2 after that last reception.
Another quick play here by the South Australian Sharks. I guess their overall play style is to be quick and fast like this with those slants and quick outs.
Another motion here, and this time on the ground is that Ben Keane. Ben Keane's going, breaking free into that backfield, picking this first down up on that third and short play.
Gashing up the middle, and this is the play we saw at the beginning of the first quarter. That misdirection there from the motioning receiver, and then running the running back up the middle the other direction. Number 5, Ben Keane, great run up the centre.
Let's see if they go back to Keane in the backfield. Player in motion. They'll give it to that motion man, but shutting that play down is Matthew Waters.
Not falling for anything this time. Using the same sort of setup, that same sort of motion. Not fooling anyone on the Raiders defense this time around.
Nicely.
Adam Parker, great job to fly through there. Control that B gap and make a nice, safe and hard tackle.
Still with the split backs. Under center is Henshaw. Henshaw rolling to his right very minimally, and then sets that ball up for Sam Young to come down with it.
Into a more manageable scenario here, maybe 5 yards to the first down.
Taking down Bogogorovic mid-air.
Sam Young putting his body on the line, reaching up for that one, and exposing the ribs that time around.
Henshaw over the top, and this is Stanbury. Stanbury's got space and he's got a touchdown.
That is a great job there by number 7, Brad Stanbury. It looks like a bit of a mix-up in coverage. Have the safety and the corner quarterback watching. Now Stanbury to get in behind them into the space. Great ball, great delivery.
South Australia not waiting till the final 2 minutes to get a touchdown this half.
Obviously a good speech had in the halftime sheds.
Well, I think Evans has just tried to jump that route and misjudged it. Going for 2, successful in their first attempt. They try to give it to Keane. Keane, it's a messy exchange, and the score remains 14 points to 6. Did not have to wait too long for our first score here.
Great start to the half. South Australia continuing on the momentum that they had from the first half. And this time, a little bit different. Not a quarterback scramble or any sort of run to get this job done. Great pass. Great catch. Top score.
South Australia now in the lead, which is, you can almost hear the cheers from New South Wales camp right now.
We did spot earlier a couple of coaches here sitting up in the stands.
Also, I'm going to cut you off there and take a quick mention to apologise to number 1 for South Australia, John Formentera. I was not using an updated team list there, despite it being given to me by Coach Patrick Carroll there. Been calling him Jack Paizula, who's not actually travelling this tournament. So, John Formentera wearing the number 1 for South Australia.
Let's see if WA can continue on with some momentum of their own from the first half.
Flo Zar returning the ball now. Almost having the ball ripped away from him, but he gets that ball to the 37-yard line.
Again, it seems to be some really good coaching here from South Australia. A lot of gang tackling, 3, 4, 5 heads on this ball.
You see the Raiders bench there. A good chat there from Coach Rowdy, and also Dom Allison, one of the graduates from both Outback and the WA Raiders junior program, now coaching at the Raiders level.
2 by 2 here from the Raiders. Looking to spread out the South Australian Sharks.
It's a play action pass. Westlake's taken down. That's defensive tackle Simeon Solomu getting in for the sack.
That's a great job. They've left him unblocked. Possibly some sort of read option there from the quarterback, and looks like we've taken the wrong choice, but great play. Second on pretty long, 15 yards, I think.
Westlake now, and I think that's Delafranco with him. He's throwing long. It's tipped. Went through 2 sets of hands from both teams. Eventually falls incomplete, and that'll bring up 3rd down and long.
Lockie Pink, the desired target that time around. Got the 2nd and 3rd touches on that ball, but unfortunately couldn't come down with the catch.
Floyd Zar, who's been having to do a fair bit of juggling on the punts there. Couldn't quite bring it there on the pass from his quarterback, Marcus Westlake.
Trips formation out to the left.
And a quick throw out. And breaking tackles now is Jacob O'Halloran. He runs it out of bounds.
I'd hope they go back to this play a little bit later. That jailbreak screen looks like it's ready to rock and roll. We've got blockers out ahead of the receiver who gets this ball. You'll see 3 or 4 guys out there leading the way, but number 13 here, Jacob O'Halloran, hugging the sideline and not necessarily cutting back in behind those blockers. Possibly a lane in there that we can pick up some big yards.
It's 4th down now, 4th down and 11. They're huddling. Flozar is towards the back of it, but he's there as a tight. Nope, he's there as a punter. Not often teams huddle for a punt. So here he is, Zai Delafranco has his up back. You see him wave there, letting his long snapper know that we're ready. And Flozar gets some leg behind this, and it goes out of bounds around, well, he's got it inside the 20, I believe.
16, 17 yard line or so. Great looking punt.
So here comes South Australia again. A touchdown late in the first, touchdown to open the second.
See if they can continue that momentum.
Let's see if they go back to Lockie Pink, who managed to pull a miracle out of his pocket with 15 seconds remaining in the first half.
Empty set again. No running backs.
Delafranca is back deep as the free safety. A couple picks in the first half. Off his back foot he throws, but he completes. No, he doesn't. Pass was in and out of the hands of Caleb Skiffworth.
That's a decent ball. You just got to finish those ones.
Not to be confused with Jordan Checker. 2 number 12s in this team. One on offense, one on defense. Empty set, double tight once again. 3 steps, but immediately rolling to his right, looking for his outside wide receiver. And registering his first catch there is Tui Kauba.
25, Oliver Harmer doing a great job of baiting the quarterback into throwing that low throw and breaking on the ball to make the tackle for a 0-yard gain.
Tui Kauba is competition as bloodline, alluded to his basketball background earlier. I think his father, who might have played some JUCO ball in Tennessee, I believe. So a bit of football bloodlines there, or at least maybe basketball. South Australia well and truly in control of the snaps now. Try to again go with that wheel route, but you had Stanbury and Young in the exact same place.
Very similar looking play to the play that they scored on last drive. This time not able to convert on the pass, but the space is there. That's that wheel route, that bubble route, whatever you want to call it here. It does seem to be open. There seems to be some space there for that ball.
I don't know if it's a situation here where the outside we're supposed to be running a clear out and there's a out route by the inside receiver, but it's a couple times now we've spotted them in the exact same place.
Exactly.
Not what you want. Generally you want receivers
A little bit more space between 1 and 2.
manning their own spot. So that's a 3.5 for South Australia.
Swinging gate style punt.
I think we've actually got a change in punter now. Young free will claim it on the full, or will he? Nope, one bounce. It's a friendly one. Now he's got some space and will be taken down from behind, taking it to the Sharks. 32.
And that's a good return. Way to fix up the minor bobble that we had just after the catch here. Friendly bounce, like you say, but then we're off to the races, and great run overall.
For those who might be wondering if that's an infringement, it isn't. You're allowed to do that in this sport. No knock-ons, provided you can get it back. No need for the bunker on this one. Right now, an 8-point difference between these two teams. Western Australia trying to close that gap as quickly as they did the last.
I'd like to see WA be aggressive this time around.
No, there's confusion there. Westlake was looking to the sideline. Ball goes over his head. He can't recover it. The Sharks have got it. Alex Rossi raising the ball above his head. That's just
Disastrous result that time around.
I don't know what happened there, but Westlake was looking to his left. He was looking to the sideline as if someone was calling his name, as was his running backs. And the centre snaps it, thinking they're ready. Over the head it goes. It's a bit of a comedy of errors. Kevin Chen getting a call. Was that? And he'll announce.
The ruling on the field is an inadvertent whistle. Immediate recovery by South Australia. First down, South Australia.
All right, an inadvertent whistle, as you heard there, but ultimately doesn't hurt South Australia. That could have been dramas if they returned it.
Definitely.
They jumped it on there. Ultimately,
Turnovers playing
call.
out.
So, once again, this game might break the record for turnovers, to be honest, but I'll use this opportunity to acknowledge some of the officials for the next play. I'll give you their names before I get into their details, but I might hold off till the next play. Quick pass, and this is intercepted. Another turnover. This time making the play
Oliver Harmer.
is Oliver Harmer. He's been around the ball all tournament. That time, collects a pick.
Great job. Great technique. Great man coverage. And just breaking on that ball and undercutting it here. It's a great job of playing some classic man coverage.
So now we'll use this opportunity to acknowledge some of the referees as we get a replay of this intercept. Underthrown pass there intended for Big Moritz hind ladder. But our white hat today is Kevin Shen hailing from Victoria. Brian Balzama, Leon Carter, Palm Pellizzari from WA, Leon Palmer from Victoria, Brian Balzama from Queensland, Callum Vaughan from ACT, and Nathan Coe from ACT. Got a bit more to add to that in a second. A draw play here to Della Franca. The fumble ultimately did not hurt the Raiders, who've got the ball back. And that is Galley taking down Della Franca.
That's great contained there by the defensive ends of South Australia, but ultimately that's Galley's play to be made. He's holding and controlling both of those A gaps, and once the running back sees that those close and tries to bounce it out to B, he's there to finish that play off as well.
But I did mention a name amongst all those officials, Pam Pellizzari. Fun fact about her, she is the first ever second-gen national official. She's the daughter of a Goa Hall of Famer, Gordon Tufto, I believe, is joining us today in the crowd. Shout out to you, Gordon, and congratulations, Pam, and that whole family. And a nice catch and a run for the Raiders.
Great
Curtis
passing.
Madeira from the Rocky Vipers picking up a catch.
A simple quick out here, one step and throw. And that's some great yards, if not a first down, very close too.
Three receivers out to the right. Lockie Pink closest to them, and that's where this pass will go to. The screen is almost picked off. A nice read there by the South Australian defensive back Levi Hurst.
She's moving to that jailbreak screen again, but South Australia defense able to sniff that one out early and nearly make the big play.
Comms not agreeing with us. Fourth down for the Raiders. Westlake, has he caught them offside?
That's a smart move.
I think he has. First time I feel this team has used a hard count all tournament. It's come up goods.
And we've been talking all day about the aggressiveness and how dangerous the defensive
Offside.
line
Defense, number 71. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
How aggressive this defensive line for South Australia have been, and we've been mentioning Galley's name all day. This time they take advantage of that aggressiveness, the Raiders, and catch him on a hard count.
Once again, 3 wide receivers out to the right side and open side of the field.
His favourite target from this formation has been Curtis Madeira.
And Lockie Pink to the outside. Are they going back to the screen? No, they're going to fake the screen and go deep to Lockie Pink. Great play calling. And Pink is taken down inside the 5. A beautifully dialed up play from the offensive staff of the Raiders.
He seems to be their number one deep threat and where they want to go when they're taking a shot. And he's done a great job so far this game in taking advantage of those chances.
Westlake, a beautifully thrown ball over the top, giving Lockie Pink all the room he needed. He was wide open.
You see the defensive back on the trip side here coming down and looking at what would have been that bubble. A short route outside and low, leaving one-on-one back and deep and versing their best deep receiver in Lockie Pink.
Westlake in the shotgun now, throwing the fade. Too many wheat beaks. Pass intended to his tight end Flozar.
Pre-snap, Flozar didn't appear to have a man allocated to him, perhaps why the quick snap and throw. This time a bit too much on the pass itself, overthrowing.
opportunity here. It seems like these offenses have finally come alive after a very lethargic start. Heck, very lethargic first half.
Slow and steady.
Spread formation, they'll just try to sneak this in. Can't see a signal. It looks like he's short. They just tried to get young Westlake in with the old quarterback sneak. Oh, and geez, he's reaching out for it. He would have got close.
And it's that combo of Griffin O'Collar and Ethan Gowley filling both the A and B gaps that time.
And we're getting a touchdown. He did get it. After a discussion, Kevin Chen raises the arms, as does Pam Pellizzari. And they say Paskov has added a touchdown to the board via a quarterback sneak to score. 14-12, a 2-point conversion to tie it up.
This will be an important play for the Raiders. Keep momentum on their side, keep the scores even. I've got my eye on Lockie Pink this time around as well.
And there's also Flauza on the left slot. Delafranca to the left of him. He will throw that direction. The 2-point conversion is intercepted. They could bring this back. He's got a convoy of blockers. This will result in 2 points if he's got enough gas. But skipper Lockie Pink takes him down, saving his team 2 points.
Tom Martin, great play. Near in that's pick 6.
Well, pick 2, really.
Oh, pick 2, my mistake. Yes, of course. Athletic catch. Bit of a 360 for a bit of flair, and then we're off to the races. Lockie Pink making big plays on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, Tom Martin from the South City Chiefs, the 17-year-old, picks off the screen pass. And it's a lot of work for 2 points, these players, and this time he comes up about 20-30 yards short. Great play from Lockie Pink to keep his team at 2 points rather than 4 points away. A couple of Western Australian Raiders watching in. Ben Gastrov, Kevin Wilson. They just saw the touchdown there from WA to make this score a 14-12 ball game. South Australia creating a bit of a habit of creating drama in these 2-point conversions. Starting from Monday when Rossi denied the All-Stars a 2-point conversion, which handed South Australia their first victory. This low-line drive will head to Tui Carver's direction. He'll turn on the jets and he'll get past the 30. South Australia with a 2-point lead. Now get on the ball and see what they can do with it.
Great north-south run here. Decided to put his head down and me and you, let's go. Getting clipped and bringing him down here just shy of the 40-yard line.
Actually, that reminds me, Tui Carver, I will bring up something. So I did ask Coach Peter Carroll for a couple of stats, and he said, I'll tell you what, I bet all my players keep their stats. So he's forwarded me some of these stats, one of which including Mr. Tui Carver there, to which reads 1 tackle, 3 attempted tackles, 1 concussion, and get this, follow his Instagram at Tim2.I. So shout out, young man. Oh, another intercept. Almost grabbed on the coverage there was Kai Torsvik.
It's good to see that those snaps are now under control after a couple of bundles in the first quarter. Both sides seem to now have them under control now that they've got into a bit of a rhythm.
Back to this double tight formation, if you want to call him that. Snaps mishandled, but he's got it. Now he's on the run. Throws with a nice motion and gets that to Sam Young. Sam Young is taken out of bounds at the 43.
It's always hard for those right-handed quarterbacks to roll to the left-hand side. We've had a couple of players from all teams in this tournament involve the rollout, whether it be by play design or by being flushed out by a defensive lineman. That's a great way to finish what's obviously a difficult play to make. Staying with the same formation here.
Not a whole lot of variation. Quick throw over the middle. I saw a couple of those Western Australia DBs lurking once more. Pass was intended to Jack Helton.
And quite aggressive on the play calling this time around. I mean, the empty formation basically says we're going to pass and try and stop us. And the holes are there. We're fractions of being on target, and we've seen what happens when one of these South Australian receivers can get hold of one of those balls.
Yeah, and bringing out the punt formation, given the lack of execution on third down. It's a low snap, but it ends up getting to Keane pretty effectively, who's now acting as the team's punter. It's a bad bounce for South Australia, and it'll bounce out of bounds at the Raiders 30.
That's good protection up front, no pressure on the kicker.
Keane playing a linebacker and running back. Now we can throw punter into his list of positions.
Certainly getting his tournament's worth.
You can see the beautiful location here on screen of the Sydney Academy of Sports and Recreation here in Narrabeen. One of the rare situations you have a field surrounded, girt if you will, by plenty of greenery here in the beautiful northern beaches of New South Wales. Westlake, all his receiver help bar one to the right, and that includes running back Delafranca. But he will throw to the receiver to the left, has a completion. That is Charlie Reid, backup quarterback, but also wide receiver and running back, getting a quick chunk of yards.
Tom Martin there again, being around the ball. A safe play, small gain. Defense won't be too upset with that play.
14-12 towards the back end of the third quarter. Westlake throws to Pink. Pink has to go up and get it. Won't have a whole lot of space. The rest of the DBs and linebackers now converge on him. And that'll be Pink getting back to the line of scrimmage at best.
So jailbreak screen that we've seen a couple times today. And again, the ball carrier seems to be heading outside. Lockie Pink heading outside of his blockers this time around. Just getting behind those incoming linemen. Might be able to find a lane up inside.
Westlake now with an even split of receivers, 4 of them, 2 each side. Snaps good. He looks for a receiver, but he's been picked off there. Heading back upfield is Jai Field, who's back on the field. Obviously giving up punting duties, but still on the defensive side of the ball, and he picked off Westlake, defending this 2-point lead for his Sharks.
These Sharks defensive backs are making some big plays today.
I'll be honest, I've lost track of the turnovers.
They'll be pleased with their performance today, the defensive backs.
I mean, both teams really.
All defensive. I think this has been a great defensive stand today, and both 14 and 12 points have been well earned.
Western Australia in possession now, and South Australia in possession now. Quick toss, he's open, it's Keane. Keane looking for yards after the catch. He brings it inside the 20, and South Australia now have a red zone attempt.
Wide open there for Ben Keane. He's got nobody marking him. The linebacker on his side decided to blitz, or called to blitz, leaving an easy completion there for the quarterback to get it there to Keane for a nice gain.
Got a fresh set of downs. No, well, I thought he was in the red zone. They've marked him down. His knee was down a bit early. They're actually just outside the red zone. Another quick drop, another shot for the big man. And the pass was 11, but it's broken up by 11. Zane Grigorovich getting his hands on that ball.
Grigorovich could have definitely made that play there. Unlucky to not make the play. There's a lot of bodies in the area, and if you get that one, we might be looking at a pick six the other way.
And under pressure is Henshaw. Henshaw, well, he'll avoid the sack, but he'll still take the hit.
A healthy game.
Short couple of yards there. Avoids the negative yardage.
And the quarterback position will be known famously for taking a slide or getting down before the contact arrives. But you see the quarterback this time around really driving through and looking to break those tackles. So good job there by Henshaw.
Another run here for Henshaw. Henshaw looking for the end zone. Taken down inside the 1.
Quick and easy steal of yards there from Henshaw again. Sneaking through the A-gap. Defensive line seem to have the B's and C's controlled. And then Henshaw taking advantage of some missed tackles there at the second level, resulting in a 1st and goal.
Both teams currently sitting in 2nd and 3rd place respectively. New South Wales and Victoria nervously watching on, looking where the cards may fall for their futures.
2 backs back in the game.
What do you smelling a snake?
Number 5.
In motion, no. Henshaw will hand it off to Keane. Keane looking for the end zone. Haven't seen a signal. No one's celebrating.
Looking back to that play that they like using in the first half, first quarter. Wide receiver motion and Keane back the other direction. They got some big yards off that not too long ago.
Yeah, he's well and truly short. Inches away. And that looks like
timeout.
It might be the end of the 3rd quarter. Timeout. Just looking at which team called it.
South Australian.
I'm looking at 2nd and goal, 1 yard away. I think South Australia's called the timeout. Or both teams are just waiting for the quarter to run out. But our clock has stopped. So waiting for any information to be cycled into us. There's a run, so either it's the end of the quarter or someone has called the timeout, but the clock currently stopped on our screen.
Might be the quarter. The Raiders seem to be heading down the other end of the field right now.
I think that is the case. Clock on our screen will catch up in time. It looks like the end of the 3rd quarter. We end the 3rd and head into the 4th with a 2-point ball game. South Australia walking their way up to the other side of the field now. They lead 14 points to 12 over WA with 12 minutes remaining in their seeding games. Of course, the winner of this game will have ramifications on the rest of the ladder. Will they just sneak it? That looks like the case. Looking for signals. They might have been stuffed. Western Australia have held them out on 2nd down.
Great stand by the Raiders. You see those backs there of the offense shifting just before the snap of the ball, getting in a position to be able to push and drive the quarterback on that sneak play. Here they go. And you see them hand straight onto the back immediately, and we're trying to add extra power to this push.
Getting low and creating the initial stop is Josh Poeta. Had a huge hand and almost denying them a 2-point conversion in the first half. Henshaw's under center again, a yard out.
I'd like to see a run behind the Botoots now.
Will they go back to Keane? Yes, they will. Can Keane get in? Touchdown, South Australia!
If he didn't get in by himself, Mabotu helped him get in there.
Find your best lineman and run in behind him.
And that's that play we're talking about again. Wide receiver motion, misdirection to the back, follow your best blockers in Mabotu, and here we are with the score. Great job.
points added to the score. 20 points to 12. Following that touchdown to Keane. His first of the tournament. 2-point conversion upcoming. They run the exact same play, it looks like, but they'll pass out of it now. And this pass will not be intercepted. Incomplete pass intended to Kelton. That's incomplete now. The buffer has moved from 2 to 8. Interesting play call there.
There's a bit of miscommunication between the receiver and the quarterback. Quarterback thought he was running inside. Receiver thought he was aiming for the back pylon. And left in the middle with a near pick 2, as we were talking about earlier, was a defensive back.
And South Australia comes back to kick off. I see Lockie Peak amongst the returners to bring this back. And the other one is Young Free. Trailing by 8 previously. It was a long Lockie Pink catch that brought him back. And kicking off is Abdul Jalil. I'll tell you a little something about Abdul after this kick. Ball's booted up. It's caught on the full by Youngfree. Youngfree following the block of Pink. And Foreman Terra will do his job on special teams and wrap up Youngfree, taking him out, and Western Australia is back on the ball.
We've had some big explosive plays from the Raiders, and I'm hoping that we can get the same sort of thing this drive to even back out the scores and keep this one as a nail-biter. Given the way the defenses have been playing today, a lot of pressure comes on these offenses to score when they finally do get the chance.
Abdul Jalil still kicking off there. He's comes from a soccer background. No surprises there why he's the kicker. Actually from Western Sydney originally. Spent a year here in his youth. And
shouts out to the area.
Yeah. I've got more about him. I'll keep saving. I'll keep teasing. Westlake looking for a quick throw. He's got it. O'Halloran's the receiver. Nice first down grab on the hitch route.
Great stop. Nearly managed to break that one for a couple of extra yards, but ultimately only about 3 or 4 this time.
Honestly, that is one of Westlake's best throws this tournament, if you ask me.
Nice, delivered
quick
on time. Just a great play there by number 17. Trips to the left-hand side.
Looks both ways. Westlake will throw to the trip side. Will find his man underneath. That's Madeira. And Madeira gets involved.
Inching their way up the field here, these Raiders, getting some nice momentum, some easy passes, a couple in a row. Hopefully this can lead to a big, long drive.
Madeira catch, nets them 5 yards. 2nd and 5 upcoming for the Raiders now. Breaking that huddle, looking confident. 4 wide receivers, but this time spread evenly across the field. Halloran's near side receiver to your screen. The flag's thrown early. Going over the top and almost intercepted.
And another play by defensive backs.
And don't know if he's injured or just in disbelief that he couldn't catch it, but
Maybe a bit winded, but he'll probably be fine given that he looked like he landed on the ball.
yeah, it happens. There are the calves of Josh Mills, one of our 2 ICs here at LSB. Nice, smooth as a zoom out.
Offside. Defense number 24. That 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Costly error.
Hurst caught offside, and of course it was 2nd and 5, plus a 5-yard penalty. That equals a first down.
This allows WA to keep their momentum rolling.
Lockie Pink back in the slot.
Top of your screen, one-on-one scenario.
Halloran though, he can't get the ball out. He had one-on-one coverage there by Abdul Jalil. I was hearing about him earlier. Now, in the lead up to Nationals in training camp, he's talked to his coach about how he couldn't train because he feels burning in his legs. Patrick Carroll's like, well, what's going on? Is it a muscle strain? He's like, no, it's just burning. It's skin. He's like, what did you do with your girdle, mate? He's like, my mom washed it in bleach. He's like, when did you put it on? Well, it was still wet. A life lesson learned there by Abdul Jalul in the lead up to Nationals. Got to remember these guys are still kids, still learning lessons. Here's a catch by Flauzar, the other 17. He makes a catch, taking it inside the red zone.
Missed this shot last play, decided to go back to the same looking play. Hit Flozar on the hitch route and taking advantage of those deep set corners.
Raiders moving nicely here, chasing 8 points. Seven Kiffin Gibbs hasn't been too involved since the first quarter. He'll get targeted now. Nice catch! Would have loved it in front of him, but yes, speak of the devil, he takes the Raiders inside the 5.
Great way to enter into this game. Good looking route, good outside release. And like we said, we like that ball a little bit more in front, a little bit more lead, but ultimately a great catch to make that play.
Raiders knocking on the door. The offenses, both of these teams have found their feet here in the second half. Beautiful ball, but if only you could get that just a little wider for him, you would have been talking about touchdown Raiders, but here they are trying to look for those 6 points now.
Keep an eye on Della Franca here.
He's been used primarily to pass block. Let's see if they give it to him here. And knocking on the door. Westlake looking right, throwing a Pink. Pink's got space, looking for the pylon. Touchdown, Lockie Pink. His second of the day. Throws the ball down and celebrates with Flozar with something clearly rehearsed. And the Raiders bring it back within 2 points.
An obvious favourite target here for the quarterback. That's a great route, great pass, simple stuff, but they're able to take advantage and get the ball in the end zone this time around.
Nice quick release. We're seeing flashes of Westlake here, of the quarterback he can be with just another season under his belt.
I think he's getting that consistency the more we get deeper into this game.
Here he goes again. Lockie Pink still to the right, but it'll be a rollout to the left. No one's there. In fact, it's picked off. I thought I saw a flag fly. Nope. Incomplete. South Australian Sharks proving to be very proficient at protecting their goal line and 2-point conversions.
Defensive backs especially have been having a great game for these South Australian Sharks.
Another 2-point ball game. The Raiders can't quite capture a tie here, much to the dismay of Victoria.
I'm sure they'll be watching on eagerly right now.
I'll remind you again, should WA get up here, Victoria will be advancing to the National Championship. As New South Wales and Victoria will finish on a 2-1 record, as the two teams to finish on a 2-1 record. Two-way tie means head-to-head comes into effect, should it be relevant, of which it is. Both those two teams competed on day one. Victoria taking out a 14-10 victory. Of course, if South Australia wins in a game in which they are leading by 2 points, we are talking about a 3-way tie, and then we're getting the calculators out. This kick might go out of bounds, and that it does. South Australia will be given the option here about whether they'll take it on the 30 or whether they'll opt to re-kick.
I like the idea of starting from the 30 here. The returns haven't been crazy explosive. We've been getting back to the 20 or just past, so I think the 30 is a good starting position, but let's see what the coach does.
There's Pam Pellizzari on screen. And Kevin Chen with the announcement.
Illegal procedure on the kicking team. South Australia have elected to take the ball on the 35. First down.
By 30, I definitely meant 35.
I read between the lines that time.
Forget about all the rule changes with kickoffs nowadays. Trying to take special teams out of the game. 20 points to 18, still plenty of time left in this game. 8:42 here in the fourth quarter.
While this game is so tight, I do think South Australia have a slight advantage. The momentum slightly in their favour across this game, mainly on offence, I mean. And I'm excited to see if we can get back into the end zone or have a successful drive this time around, given how aggressive this South Australia team's been.
And when picking up right now, if I were to describe it, it's coming to the backs of the South Australian Sharks. A pass to Sam Young there off his hands. He really should have had that. So,
lots of simple concepts, lots of ins and outs here happening from South Australia. And the plays seem to be there. Some minor errors causing a drop or a slightly inaccurate pass has been the cost of why this isn't rolling as smoothly as they'd like. But certainly the plays are looking like the right calls being called.
Another quick drop under pressure. He rolls away from it, does Himmerth, and wisely throws the ball away, and we might have a roughing the passer call. Flags are certainly in that area, and Henshaw is down.
A little bit worse for wear, but he looks okay.
Tough guy has been the only quarterback for this team so far. Most teams have rotated through.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 24 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
One of the experienced linebackers, and Nafareem Smith, pinged for a roughing the passer call there. That just bailed out SA.
He's been having some good plays early in the first half, and I think he's pushing a little bit too much to make some more plays in the second.
But yes, Cooper Henshaw, the only quarterback in this competition, has been the lone starter for his team, the lone quarterback for his team. Every other team has at least at some point rotated through to their seconds. Double tight, empty formation again. Henshaw immediately feels the pressure, evades the sack. Can't evade the second effort that time. Getting on the stat sheet onto the sack column is Benjamin Phillips.
That's a great job there by the defensive line. We've got a man down.
Henshaw's down.
Possibly still a bit sore from his previous bit of contact, and this might just be the one to make him take a rest this time around.
Well, look, if you were tracking quarterback hits, Henshaw's up there amongst the most in this tournament. His body has taken some damage, and we remind everyone, this is a 10-day tournament where you're playing games every second day. And
these games do take their toll. And we saw him earlier aggressively running the football, not like your standard quarterback and sliding down before contact. He's acting like a running back out there. So add those in with the defense as well, getting to him. He might be nearing the end of his tether, maybe a break coming up soon.
And the worst case about these tournaments is sometimes the sorest you feel is not just the day after, 2 days after when you're backing up to play again. So it really is on the medical staff and the players to stay on top of their recovery, make sure they're hydrating.
I'm going to get a shot at Pam. I'm trying to get a shot at Gordon because he's ball on that side.
Roger. As we're trying to tee up some shots here, and yeah, staying on top of your recovery there, trying to get the lactic acid out as efficiently as possible.
It's one of the harder things in this style of tournament. You know, every 2 days you've got a 3-hour battle. You know, the standard person isn't usually used to that sort of ongoing hammering, if you will, across the 10 days. So
there she is.
Yep, mentioning again, once again, is Pam Palazzaro. We've spoken about her a couple of times this game now. Second gen official at the national level. The daughter of Gordon Tuft, I believe.
Gordon Tuft.
The Ogoa Hall of Famer. We see some issues here in the officials' tent. We're seeing that Miles Newman's okay.
Henshaw managing to stay up under his own power, though it does look like
All good in the operation tent.
have we got a quarterback substitution?
Trying to look at our man there now. There is a young quarterback, and we'll talk about it in a second. He puts Sam Young in motion. And he's trying to get the snap. He gets the ball away to Keane. Keane's found some space on the left-hand side. Will he get back to the line of scrimmage? He does, and picks up a yard. But trying to get a look at this quarterback, I think it could be young Chris Liberance, who's actually the son of a famous South Australian player, talking about second-gen players. We'll just double-check that is the case. He's actually a young kid, though. Wasn't expecting to get too many reps. Was here more for the experience, and it certainly is. And here he is, the young man. Well, I wasn't sure if he was going to get any snaps. Here he has an opportunity now with the game on the line. This is one heck of a learning experience for him. Sam Young in motion again. He will fake it to Young. They'll go up the middle and will hand the ball off, and taking a huge hit there, I think, is Kane coming over the top, number 23, Sam Oldfield.
And the loss of Henshaw, hopefully that doesn't mean a major change of playbook for the South Australian Sharks. When the backup quarterback comes in, have we been doing the work to get them comfortable in the plays that we've been running? We might be looking at some base plays and maybe lowering the aggressiveness of this South Australian offense. Three and out this time. Hopefully that gives Henshaw some time to recover. I'm not sure on his status right now.
And a nice catch there by Young, free fielding the punt. He's got some space. He's going to move. Was that in the back? There are no flags. Yes, flags have been thrown now, but they'll continue with the punt return. Young free still going. He's still on his feet, trying to beat the punter, and he takes it all the way into the Sharks' 39.
That's unfortunate. I think we did see a block in the back here. Maybe number 20. You see the back end of it there. I wasn't sure on the number, but it certainly looks like a block in the back that might bring this one all the way back.
The referees will congregate and discuss what everyone saw.
Illegal block in the back. Number 19 on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
There it is.
First down.
And that is Ryan Evans being caught for the blocking back. To his credit, immediately gets up, looking to try and make up for his mistake. So credit to the young man.
March this back well inside the 10, maybe even the 5-yard line. Looks like inside the 10. On the 9, there we are.
Yeah, official call. And a blitz out here by Formenta. He's actually gotten to the quarterback. Sharks recover!
What a play there by the defense.
Pressure off the edge there by John Formentera, sorry.
58, we've said his name a couple of times. Griffin O'Connor with the recovery.
Marcus Westlake cops a big shot off the edge from the nickelback, and Formentera gets in there real quick. They use some speed off the edge, South Australia. They're forced to.
At least we managed to mention the right person this time around.
Trying to make up for it. 20 points to 18. The Sharks with just under 6 minutes remaining.
Who's jumped in at quarterback? Is Henshaw back out there?
And that is it is Henshaw, so admirable work there from Chris Liberance, father Mark Liberance, very famous player and coach Not only at Gasser, but in the
An eye on
Australia.
Keane. Base play here.
That's where they'll
Scored
give
on it
to.
last time.
He's still trucking through. I'm seeing a touchdown signal. The Sharks have gotten through 26 points to 18 via Ben Keane. Or would have been the nose of the football.
Very close. You get a better look at it here. Great running. Good way to hit that gap. I mean, that's very close.
It's as close as it gets, but the signals went up. Just getting confirmation that was a touchdown. Trying to see where they're lining up, if it's at the...
We're looking like we're on the 3-yard line. Must be for the 2.
2-point conversion upcoming. They're throwing for it, looking for a receiver. Has he got it? Yes, he has. They add a 2-point conversion. That is 28 points to 18. 10 points now, the buffer. Under 5 minutes remaining. Off his back foot, Henshaw gets back in the game and throws a 2-point conversion to Moritz Hindletter.
And WA really going to have to start making some plays in the next drive here. Well, there is 5 minutes, so plenty of time, but we certainly don't want to get that clock too low.
Well, the important thing is it's 2 possessions now.
Exactly right. So big drive here coming up for the Raiders.
Just for our operation tent, the score is 28 points to 18. Jalul kicking his team off once again, going to the hands. They will keep it in bounds, and he'll take it in bounds. Charlie Reid might have been better off leaving that one.
Maybe not too sure of where that ball was heading or his position on the field, but certainly an argument to be made to leave that ball and let that dribble out of bounds.
The other option is, if it's not going to quite make it, get yourself out of bounds.
Smart play that'd
Reach
be.
for the ball. Randall Cobb special. So, in any case, it will be Western Australia with a first down deep in their own territory following that last kickoff. 5 minutes and 50 seconds remaining.
I think given the way this game has gone, Lockie Pink is really going to be stepping up in this drive. He's been the playmaker for them up until this point. Will South Australia be keeping an eye on him? Maybe a double? Try and force the ball to other players.
Westlake looking for a receiver alone on the right. I think that's Flozar. He stood up and drilled, and South Australia have stripped that ball away and have scored themselves a game-winning touchdown.
The strip 6.
What happened there?
Great catch. Tackles held him up. And number 19.
Liam Bunn, the original tackler, has stripped the ball away after standing him up.
Great heads-up play.
Added a defensive 6-pointer. There it is, our first defensive touchdown of the tournament.
Should have been an easy play here, and the gang tackling by the Sharks has forced a loose ball, and Evans comes up with a big play.
I think Bunn, he couldn't quite get a hold of it, but it's number 48, Perkins' final hit that finally dislodges the ball into the grasp of Bunn. And he goes, thank you, on his way to 6 points.
Maybe the need of WA having to make a big play, having the importance of that last drive. Flozar maybe trying to keep something alive and make a big play that time around, but great job here by the Sharks.
2-point conversion here. Henshaw of his back foot is intercepted. Won't be returned for any points, but collecting that 2-point interception there is the other 19, Orion Evans.
We must be in some sort of record for turnovers. We've got to be.
Probably not the record that these offenses want to be involved with, but
Exactly right, but defenses are having a field day.
$34 points to 18. I remind everyone of the situation at hand. So South Australia have won, so well, I wouldn't say have won, that's early call there.
Presumptuous.
South Australia in a strong position to take this game home now. If they can hold on to this game, Victoria now must beat Queensland to go through to finish as the only team 3-0. Otherwise, New South Wales will likely follow through and take it on points for and against. Its history repeating itself in Narrabeen from 2011. I'll talk more about that later. Right now, South Australia desperately trying to record their second win. Lockie Pink trying to field the kick, picks it up on the bounce. Finding some space down the right-hand side. Uses a stiff arm, but eventually wrestled down there.
Up to 20.
And I'm hearing plenty of crowd noise now, and I'm thinking that could be one of the teams rooting for the beneficiaries of a South Australian victory. Last suing him there is linebacker Zach Edwards, or shall I say defensive end. 5 minutes, 23
Offside
seconds.
on the kicking team. That penalty will be tacked onto the end of the run. First down, WA.
Offside on the kicking team, so
I'm a little bit eager on the kickoff.
extra 5 yards for him. If you think about it, it's a pretty small price to pay. 5 yards.
It is.
Crazily offside. Start thinking of all the different tactics in my head. Galley, the big man at 71, at nose tackle. Simeon Solmo's made some play outside to him, but this is Kiffin Gibbs picking up a catch.
Quarterback able to deliver that ball, but for not much of a gain. Defensive back out there playing in the flat, able to lock that one up quite quickly. In fact, it's a 0-yard gain.
In other news for South Australia, a win here as well means they finish no further than 4th in this tournament. And
Pick.
an intercept here, Jai Field looking at the second defensive touchdown of the tournament. That he does in the first pick six.
Great play there by number 10. Quarterback locking onto his receiver from start to finish. Field spotting that from the get-go, and great hands and burst to take off out of there and finish that play.
Kiffin Gibbs, the intended wide receiver. Wow, Western Australia, they just need to make plays right now, and that involves going downfield. You lose your element of unpredictability when the situation becomes a little like this, and it makes it a little easier for the defense to make big splash plays like that.
And as the defense starts to capitalise, that hole just keeps getting a little bit deeper for you as you go through the back end of this game.
They go back to their usual
Base
play. Unsuccessful on this play. The score remains 40 points to 18. Right now, South Australia looking like if the score remains the way it is, they will add 22 to their for and against. Not that they're a realistic chance for challenging for 1 or 2, but they will be tied for second place in a 3-way tie unless Western Australia can pull up a freakish return here. I think this was the standings as of halftime. You can see there, I say we'll be improving to 2 wins, 1 loss, with New South Wales also on 2-1 after their win this morning, and Victoria currently with 2 wins, with a game in hand against Queensland, which is upcoming.
WA offense having one of their better days of the tournament. 18 points here, versus averaging only 4 points per game in the previous game. So they've been doing a good job, but the defense has been doing a great job as well. But South Australia just managing to capitalise on a couple more opportunities than WA have been ready for.
Yeah, I think it's good news. Both of these teams got shut out on day 2, so it's fantastic to see their offense be able to dial it up and pick up some points here on day 3 of the tournament. Over the top of Lockie Pink's head.
Out the back.
Out the back for a touchback.
That's all right. We sort of want to keep, well, at least from a coach's perspective, I'd like to keep Lockie Pink nice and fresh. There's no need to have him running 20 yards before you start each drive, given that he's the big play man up until this point.
Coach Wolf pulling a big man move and scaring the absolute potatoes out of us as he embraces with one of his outback coaches. You can see far side of the field there with Coach Callaway. $40 points to 18 with 4 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in this game. Is that John Rowe spot on the chains again? Can't see with
There it is.
the shows. Trips left. Westlake will show to the isolated receiver once more as lone receiver. I think that's Charlie Reid.
Great pass and catch here again. Some simple plays. They've been using this hitch route throughout the game.
Once again, looking at those mechanics from Westlake, you show it's all there. That'll be probably double the speed in a couple of years, if you ask me, if he returns.
Exactly right. It's really good to get quarterbacks or any players working here at such a young age.
Lockie Pink, the intended wide receiver there, pass sails on him.
You see in the far distance of your screen, Queensland prepping for their game up next. Just arriving on the scene.
Of course, they're taking on Victoria. These two teams with a chance to be the lone team to go 3-0 in this tournament.
And across Australia, the Sun Devils with an amazing program across the juniors.
Charge
the
team
women's and the men's.
timeout. South Australia. That is their first for the half.
South Australia taking a timeout here. Dom Ellison on the screen just a second ago. The cowboy hat. Not all too dissimilar to Coach Wolf.
Seems to be an emerging theme here, the old Cowboys. Trendsetter Wolf.
Looking at a second down now. You can see there's us, there's Victoria, and there's me sticking my hand out.
This very official calling booth.
And
Shout out to Nissan.
what do you make of the Navy top for the Team Victoria? Do you like the white that they've been rocking to the men's and the ladies, or
I do.
the Navy on Navy?
I do. I think, look, it's always good to have that standout uniform, and bright white is certainly something that you're going to notice out there on the field.
Also something you've got to clean a little harder than the rest of the uniforms. Westlake on second down. Under pressure, steps away from it nicely. Looking downfield, well executed, good quarterback and great catch. Charlie Reid picking up a couple of catches on this
That's
drive.
a great job there by Westlake. You see him avoiding and moving around in the pocket, and you might even see a very similar dip move here by the receiver once he catches that. Charlie Reid, the other quarterback, using his own dip move out there on the field.
Look at that, and as we said, wouldn't you be surprised to see getting both of those quarterback by the end of the day? That's exactly what's happened late in this quarter here. Westlake aiming for that same corner again, finding success in that same area of the field again.
The hitch route has been a popular one. Those corners of South Australia are playing, 7 yards plus off their receivers.
As
meaning
you
a
expect.
3 or 5 yard hitch should be some easy plays.
And of course, South Australia with a solid lead right now, playing it pretty safe, allowing them to get the underneath stuff.
Reid flipping over to the wide side of the field this time.
This time in the slot. Oh no, near side by receiver. Under pressure immediately as Westlake nicely evaded once again. He'll slide. I like that. Good job on first down.
Smart move for longevity, and we've got about 3 or 4 yards out of that. Those linebackers off the edge, causing some problems.
So Foreman Terra, once again, he's showing off his quickness off the edge, isn't he?
He definitely is.
Obviously had that huge play somewhere in the third where he's shot off the edge and forced the fumble. Or at least affected the fumble, if you wish to call it that. A few timeouts left, South Australia. 3 for WA as this pass goes over the top and intercepted. And that's another pick for the DBs for the Sharks. Kai Cooper.
Just forcing this play a little bit here. Looking for that smash concept, the corner route over the top. I don't think number 2, Charlie Reid, was quite ready for that one just yet. And the safety of the Sharks spotting that from start to finish and making a great play on the ball.
Now, Coach Kai Cooper's another one. He's so kindly sent his stats in to me. He had 0 catches, 4 targets, 2 tackles, 1 bat down. Get this, 25 high fives and 12 drink bottle passes.
Got to be a team record of some sort.
And now we can add a pick to that.
Coach Wolf supervising the playing security with the call booth here.
I'll be honest, didn't see him. That scared the crap out of me. 58. You can follow him at kai.cooper_24.
South Australia well in control here with the lead in their favour. Surely looking simply to run out the clock here. A lot of simple plays, a lot of base plays, and just keep that clock rocking and rolling.
Or the Crocs.
Or the Crocs even.
You rock some Crocs, mate?
I do not.
Disappointed. Western Australia.
Converse or bust.
Well, South Australia with Cooper Henshaw still in the game. Got a bit banged up earlier, came off for a drive for the first time in this tournament. Tuikaba sent in motion again. They're going to give him a carry, I think. And the man from Tennessee takes it forward, picks up a couple of yards, keeps the clock, or the Crocs, running.
And we said this earlier, getting a first down here isn't the most important thing for the Sharks, but just holding on to that ball, getting some successful plays, whether or not they get the first down or not, but the plan is to keep that clock rolling.
I see Coach Luke Middleton in crutches there. There's the official 2-minute warning. I thought we just saw one of the WA staff on crutches. Jesus, it's a dangerous ball. What if the coaches are getting injured?
Empty set here, interesting call.
Under 2 minutes remaining. They're waiting for the down markers to get set. Behind the sticks here, 3rd and 14, or looks approximately like maybe out 3rd
and 11, 3rd and 12.
11, 3rd and 12 thereabouts, because they're...
So we're thinking pass. Hopefully a defensive back from the Raiders can get some revenge.
Raiders rush a lot. The Raiders will get there.
That's a great play.
Making a play there is Ashley Raven. An outstanding game against New South Wales. 2 nights to go.
Some of the mistakes from the first half. Creeping back in for the Sharks here. A very slow and somber snap by the centre. Well recovered by the quarterback, and the Raiders defensive line right there to apply the pressure.
And that was on 3rd down, of course, and now it's 4th and 14. South Australia willingly send out their punt unit, which now features Ben King. I've talked about it before. We played some middle school ball over in Texas before coming down here. He's picked up the snap, gets the punt away.
Very close.
And we'll get it out of bounds, away from the waiting arms of Kai Torsvik on the return.
Short matchup cam there, watching the receiver in the corner do battle. Just over a minute to go.
And getting confirmation on our on-screen clock. 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining in this game. And Charlie Reid takes over at quarterback, trying to hit his wide receiver Fletcher Dignam. Can't quite connect.
Kai Cooper, free safety there for the Sharks, right in the vicinity for another big play by these DBs.
Well, he picked off them the last drive, looking to add that stat sheet with the impressive 25 high fives he has racked up this tournament. South Australia moving alongside the shift of WA. Now trips out to the left. Throw receivers. That's the way they'll throw. Looking underneath, catching underneath, making people miss underneath and taking that ball forward for a first down. Here's Fletcher Dignam. They go back to him after missing him first time round.
It's a great job there by Dignam, and I think one of the telltale signs of this receiver call for the Raiders is what they can do is break tackles once they get a hold of that ball. We've seen it a couple of times here with Lockie Pink and the rest. That's a great job. If he got tackled by the first person.
As we see the flag waved away.
There is no foul for ineligible downfield. Yep. Result of the play is a first down.
Thought it'd been a while since we heard Kevin Chen's voice.
Pretty smooth sailing today in terms of penalties.
At least in the second half, anyway.
At least in the second half, that's probably fair.
22 points the difference right now. WA seeing if they can dig into that. Managed to score in the last play against Queensland, so they will fight to the final whistle. Reed, short drop, looking for a deep man. Oh, Haddon's lost it in the sun. Almost with a big catch there was Curtis Madeira. 34 seconds
and that's
remaining.
Unlucky.
Yeah, the sun is starting to set here in Narrabeen, and now the gentleman is down. Ball on the 43, down in distance, 2nd and 10. There's Queensland with their tent, which they've been travelling with.
Well, coming back in this game seems fairly unlikely for the Raiders. They should be very happy with the way this game has gone in terms of it being pretty much their best game for the tournament thus far. Defensively, there have been plays made all over the field. First quarter, first half, it started up front with the pressure from their defensive line, and we've been raving about the amount of turnovers and forced fumbles and picks from defensive back and linebackers throughout this whole game. So despite the numbers, it doesn't necessarily tell the story of the game. WA having a pretty decent game for where they've come from for this tournament. South Australia being able to make some big explosive plays, which has ultimately resulted in the way that the scoreboard is as we see it.
Yeah, particularly defensively. Pick 6 to Kai Field. The fumble recovery return by Liam Bunn. It looks like the player is sitting up now. That's good signs. It is the intended receiver, Madeira.
He's moving on under his own power, so he does seem okay.
And there he walks off under his own power, as you just mentioned. You see Queensland warming up. It will be a pretty quick turnover between games. Charlie Reed stops, throws, and through their hands is it caught by one of the South Australian DBs. Maybe they'll claim an intercept each.
A bit of tip drill action there, and the WA seem to be into Hail Mary territory, really trying to bomb that ball downfield, and safeties and DBs waiting on that play.
Kai Cooper adds to his impressive stat sheet once again with another pick.
A great game for him.
And it looks like, as we look at the scenery here at Narrabeen on screen, I just saw the knee signal here, so I think South Australia more than willing to knee this game out and head into the finals with their 2 wins and a loss.
Victory formation.
Now, this has been a long game, it's been a tough game. I think both these teams are pretty happy to call it a day. There it is, the final play of the game. Kevin Shen, the White Hat official, ready to call this game over, and that he does. That is full time here in Game 2, Day 3 of JNAT's 2019. South Australia have registered their 2nd win of the tournament. Coming up, victors 40 points to 18 over WA. We look forward to playing tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the battle of the 5th and 6th seeds. Tough game that first half, particularly very troubling for both offenses. Coach, your final outgoing thoughts?
It was good to see these offenses find their rhythm from the second half or to the back end of the first. South Australia obviously able to continue to make some big defensive plays on the back end of this game, and that's what's given them the lead that they've gotten. WA unfortunate, but a lot of good plays made by their team, and one of their best games for the tournament. So don't be too upset on the end result. South Australia, just a great game across the board, especially those DBs.
Well, we're going to take a short break. There's a very quick turnover between this game and the following game, the final game of the regular season, if you will, of the AGL. We will update you on the standings then. But right now, on behalf of my co-caller there and Dane Robinson, and of course the LSB team, for those tuning out now, bye for now, and join us for Game 3, where Queensland, the defending champions, take on Victoria, where both teams are vying for a 3-0 finish. See you soon.